By Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Don't freeze as it gets colder. If your furnace isn't working, Air Comfort Service can get you back in your comfort zone fast with a service call for only $99. Get your furnace serviced. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Very happy to be with you this afternoon. Feels a little more cozy outside right now. I'm looking at my phone. Don't tell Dave Murray. And it says it's 38 degrees outside. Feels like 45. So bathing suit day. That's really where Ryan Wiggins is today. He's like, guys, I got to go outside in my bathing suit. Ryan will be back with us on Wednesday. In the meantime, we're going to have a full show for you that we've prepared today. It's a great lineup. Catherine Hanaway, of course, Missouri's Attorney General, is going to join us in about 15 minutes from right now. And I'll just read the Fox News headline for you. Missouri launches sweeping lawsuit to block Census from counting illegal immigrants, saying it hijacks representation. Now, that is what Catherine Hanaway, Missouri's Attorney General, is looking to do. Once again, another Missouri Attorney General leading the charge in ensuring that we are a constitutional republic, and very excited to have Attorney General Hanaway with us shortly. So stick around for that. Here's a little bit of an explanation as to what this might mean, or what's kind of the genesis of this. This is All In's David Sachs.
The Democrats want to thwart mass deportations because illegal immigrants are a vital part of their power base. And you can see this in the 2030 apportionment forecast, which just came out. Illegal aliens count towards the census, which occurs every decade. And the census determines the apportionment of congressional seats and electoral votes. And what you see in these maps is that citizens of blue states have been migrating to red states because those blue states are failing. As a result of that, blue states are expected to lose 9 House seats and electoral votes because of the changing population numbers. Illegal aliens in blue states have been propping up those numbers. And so, for example, in the last election, President Trump would have won an additional 9 electoral votes if we had an accurate counting.
So, when you get to the bottom of it, when you start to think a little bit more about what the whole immigration, the law enforcement, ICE, you think about all of these different stories that are lead stories right now. There's a policy that has been put in place. There's a policy that's been advocated for, campaigned on, and elected. That is certainly law enforcement when it comes to our immigration policies was a key point of what Donald Trump ran his 2024 election on. And let's be real, he ran his 2016 election on that as well. He probably broke through that victory over Hillary Clinton because he had that phrase, build the wall. Remember that? Build the wall. And he even said something like that they weren't sending our best. I don't have the quote right off of the top of our head, but in some speech somewhere, President Trump was talking about the people who were coming here, and he was talking about how, they're not sending us their best people. And that's the rapists, something and murderers. What was the third one? The rapists?
Drug dealers?
I was thinking drug dealers. Yeah, rapists, drug dealers, and murderers. Thank you, Brad. And he assessed the situation saying, listen, there are a lot of good people who could be coming to the United States of America right now. A lot of these people coming here, they're not those people. America signed on to that, and they elected him in 2016. Based on the news of last week, we're going to spend some time once again paying attention to what happened in the 2020 election with the FBI raid of that Fulton County election center. So who knows what's going to come of that? I'm not holding my breath for anything, but I am interested. Aren't you? But in 2024, we got to see exactly what the left would have done given the ability to open those borders. Joe Biden said when he was running for president, he said, come. That's the policy of the left. They say come. They don't want... They're not saying, the best and brightest America has been a destination for people who have hope and freedom and the love of opportunity and the willingness to pursue it. Come one, come all. America is where dreams come true. because we have a system that works. That's why the dreams can come true here, because freedom above all things in this country, it's our greatest natural resource in America. But it does have to be protected. And what the Democrats who have pursued power at every corner have learned, understood, and successfully implemented is the understanding that the preservation of freedom as a natural resource of sorts in the United States of America isn't the utmost goal here. The preservation of their own power is. So let's import voters. Let's bring people to this country who we can turn into sycophants who will want to join us, to be a part of us, and make sure we stay in power. Oh, there's a little bit of a problem there. We had this statistic posed on the show last week. Ryan Wiggins brought it in a Be or Not the Be segment of all things. Hispanic support for Donald Trump is up 30 points. He's a positive 8 points on support from Hispanic population in this country. Why do you think that is? Because the people who are here who, have a Hispanic culture that they preserve in an American environment, there are certain things that matter to them. And a lot of those families understand the value of the structure of the system that maybe they fled to, decided to participate in, and now are wrapping themselves in the red, white, and blue of understanding what a constitutional law and order based freedom where law and order is enforced, not like the countries that a lot of these third world countries, I can't say the word that Donald Trump called them. It's a foul word. His FCC, Donald Trump's FCC would get me in trouble if I repeated that word. You have a situation here where all these people are fleeing these countries where there is no law and order. Whoever has the power makes the rules, and the drug lords and the gangs have the power and they make the rules. And execution is something that can happen at a whim. People dying on the streets because of the drug problem, and everything is around the game of money and power, just like it is in every other place. But the people at the top are gangs, are drug lords. But not in the United States. We have this thing called law and order, and we work very hard to make sure everybody together now, no one is above the law. Except for Democrats. Those people we continue to see, the Don Lemons of the world, they are above the law. We'll put together some footnotes. We'll hand out a PDF. Everybody will understand it, and it will just be like, because that's the way it is? Asterisk? Question mark? It doesn't make sense. And the only way that we can have pulled so far away from a law and order culture, which is exactly what Donald Trump campaigned on, this law and order culture that suggests that law enforcement, they are the good guys. If I even have a modicum of hesitation to say that law enforcement are the good guys, that's how far we've gone down this very, very treacherous path to suggest that law enforcement, like, Annie, if you say law enforcement, if you say they're the good guys, there are some bad guys that are in law enforcement. Well, no crap. Of course there are. There are bad guys everywhere, except for the Democrat Party, because, they're all good. They'll sell you exactly what you need whenever you need it. They got to take it from someone else, but we'll talk about that later in the PDF, in the footnotes. Yes, the law enforcement in this country, they are the good guys. And the supreme power of this country, two things: the Constitution of the United States and you. Not the people in the Oval Office, not the people on Capitol Hill, not the people in Jefferson City, not the people in Springfield, Illinois. You're the one who has the power in your hands to change the legislators who make the laws. They don't get to stay there unless you support them. Those legislators, however, are apportioned to each state and to each person, not citizen currently in our country. So what do? Flood the zone. That's the idea here. You flood the zone, you bring people in, you count them, and then the Californias, the sanctuary cities, you'll notice the percentage of people, of immigrants without a citizenship status. You'll notice where these people, these sanctuary status people, what percentage of population they have that aren't citizens. Then start correlating those numbers with the super blue areas of our country. They figured out the game and it's worked for them for quite a long time. Is it unreasonable to think that the census, the ultimate idea of the census, some of you may not even know what a census is. That's fine. A census counts the people. A census is a survey of the country, and it counts the people so that they can figure out what types of services and goods and provisions, asks and wants and needs, what does the country look like? We're supposed to do it every 10 years. They did it in 2020. It was such a disaster. Would they postponed it a year or something like that? 2021 or something? The census is supposed to be the snapshot of who makes up our country. And then they dole out, based on that census information, power. California's got a crap ton of people there, so they get more power in Congress, in the House of Representatives. They get more seats. 435 seats in the House of Representatives. How many of them does California get? Now, if people from California go, don't like this, my house burned down and I'm still sitting on a heap of ashes and Gavin Newsom's a disaster, I'm going to Austin, Texas. I'm going to Reno, Nevada. I'm going to Scottsdale, Arizona. If those people from California end up leaving California, fleeing California, if they can find a U-Haul that's left in California, they go to these other states. California should not be able to continue to have as much influence and power in the House of Representatives, correct? If they don't have as many people, just because they're California? Well, now the question is, who do we count in the census? And Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has filed a lawsuit, what Fox News is causing sweeping lawsuit, to block the census from counting illegal immigrants. Does that seem wild to you? That she would even have to do that? Because it kind of does to me. But yet, of course, once again, the Missouri Attorney General, there's something about that office, man. They just keep fighting for you and for me. We're going to talk to Catherine Hanaway next here on the Annie Fry Show, so stick around for that conversation. Throw some of your comments up to the Annie Fry YouTube comment section, the chat there, and vote in the poll, which is about this. Do you support Missouri Attorney General Hanaway's lawsuit to count only citizens in the U.S. Census? Yes or no? Catherine Hanaway on the Annie Fry Show next. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Call Matt Hayes directly at 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900. You know, a lot of these different type of foundation repair companies can kind of be like chain companies managed from someone somewhere not here in St. Louis, maybe not as familiar with exactly what the St. Louis solution here is, or problems that creep up are a lot of great people working in a lot of different places, of course, as well. But Home Shield Foundation, these are our people. St. Louis, from the bottom up, a local family-owned business at Home Shield Foundation Repair. And I'm very happy to be partnered with them, Mark Cox as well. When you call Matt Hayes, you're going to be able to invite someone to look at your wet basement issues, the cracks in the walls that maybe are newer to you, or you've seen them and maybe they've gotten worse, or you're just worried about it and it's time to get it fixed. When you partner up with Home Shield Foundation Repair, you're getting a ton of experience from a local guy that's going to help the problem once and for all. 314-271-9900, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Public schools, like public libraries, should be free and open to all. Open enrollment allows parents to choose the school that's the best fit for their children. Maybe another school has a wider curriculum, is bigger or smaller. Maybe a kid is being bullied and would be more comfortable at another school. 75% of parents favor open enrollment. Open enrollment programs now exist in 43 states, and Missouri should join them. Our next-door neighbor, Kansas, has one of the strongest open enrollment policies in the nation. Kansas parents are trusted with choices and options, while Missouri parents must move out of their home to change public schools. And it's a trend. Nationwide, the percentage of students going to their chosen public school has steadily increased. Assigning kids to schools based on their zip code is the old way. Open enrollment is a better way. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Doesn't it feel like you hear all the time from retired friends and family, I wish someone had told me this before I retired? Or why didn't anybody tell me this? Why is this not a class? Well, that's exactly why Financial and Tax Architects was founded. Hardworking families in St. Louis make sense of retirement. They show them how to keep more of what they've earned and how to make it last. That way you can get some sleep at night. You don't have to second guess every expense leading up to retirement. You understand what's going on. Their Retirement Planning 101 class is a practical, no-cost course. They teach it at local colleges. It's just one night. You learn strategies to reduce taxes, plan your income, make confident decisions about Social Security and taxes and inflation. An FTA focuses on education. They try to change the way you retire. Call 888-5101 or go to fta-ria.com to register.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. You know, so much discussion around the ICE raids that are taking place around the country. And yes, there are people here who are here illegally, who are committing additional crimes, violent, terrible crimes, who have been deported over and over and over again. They keep coming back and they keep abusing our legal system, taking advantage, I'm not going to say of America so much as I'm going to say taking advantage of you and everything that you as a citizen of this country are working hard for, trying to live your life between the lines and to prosper as much as you can in the process. The real question is, we have to start considering, even before what do we do with, you know, the people who are here and after that with the immigration status, we have to also be considering, how are we counting people in this country? How are we giving states authority and power in Congress to influence the laws of the land? And I have coming up here with us our guest. I'm going to read the Fox News headline here. Missouri launches sweeping lawsuit to block Census from counting illegal immigrants. Hijacked representation. Let's speak to our guest right now. Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Catherine Hanaway, joins us once again. Thank you so much for being here, Ms. Hanaway. It's so great to speak with you once again. And you've kind of taken Twitter and the internet a little bit by storm by going out here and starting this process. It's good to have you with us.
It's so good to be with you, Annie. And isn't it amazing that something that just seems so common sense has gotten people so worked up? I mean, the lawsuit just simply says we should only count people who are legally in the United States for the purposes of apportioning congressional seats, electoral votes, and federal dollars. Only American citizens and people who are here like on a green card are the only ones who should be counted. It just seems so simple.
So you do have an accommodation in this. It's not just a citizenship status. You're here, you're legally, you're participating in the system, likely paying taxes, working, just living a legal existence here in the United States. Those people would be counted as well.
And that's what the law says. That's what the Constitution, the cases interpreting it, and the law say, is that if you're permanently in the United States, then you should be represented in Congress. Then you should be represented in the presidential election through an electoral vote. And then you should be counted for purposes of federal programs. But illegal people who are here illegally or on a temporary basis, like a student visa or a business visa, shouldn't be counted.
Can you walk us through, we're speaking with the Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Catherine Hanaway. Can you walk us through right now what this current situation is? How are people counted currently?
Well, it maybe won't surprise people who have long memories that this goes all the way back to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was the first president to say, we should count all these people illegally in the country. And it's worked tremendously to the benefit of states like California, who have any state that's created a sanctuary for illegals to come in, has a huge population, and they count in the census, and those states have gotten more congressional seats. So in the first Trump administration, President Trump said, look, we're not going to count illegals anymore. But then the Attorney General of California sued to get it enjoined. Then Biden got elected and just absolutely reversed that decision, which is part of why we filed a lawsuit. President Trump, I think, would make sure as best he could that we didn't count illegals in the 2030 census, but he's going to be out by then.
Yeah.
And so we need a court order making this permanent.
So what you're saying is this process had been started before, but it was never ruled upon with finality. It wasn't sought through because the president that got in there who didn't agree with it just made it go poof, go away.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
Poof. Just a lot of things with Biden, just poof, gone. So is it? I'm thinking, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway with us right now. I live across the river in the People's Republic of Illinois, and we have been a sanctuary state for quite some time. Chicago is certainly very proud of its sanctuary city status. Is it, in your mind, likely that these, there's a very altruistic, warm and fuzzy, like, you can come here and you're safe, we'll protect you. That's very good politics on the surface. But if you dig a little bit, was there a long game being played by the Californias, the Illinois of the world who said, yeah, we're sanctuary states, come here, let's go? Was that intentional?
I think it was. I absolutely think it was. I mean, Los Angeles alone has 2 million illegal immigrants. The state of Missouri has a population just over 5 million. So it's Missouri, if the 2020 census were done without illegals, would have one more congressional seat. If it's done correctly in 2030, we'd gain another congressional seat. California loses, New York loses, Illinois in the 2030 census would lose a seat. I think this has been very intentional, and with each congressional seat comes one electoral vote. Mm-hmm. So not only does it have an impact on the balance of power in Congress, it can have an impact on the outcome of the presidential election.
See, now it almost sounds like you're saying that the willingness to kick open the front door, the back door, and break all the windows to let people flood into this country was politically advantageous for just one party over the other. I don't know if that's what you're saying, but it's what it sounds like.
I think that might be exactly what I'm saying. Thank you for putting it in much more understandable terms.
So, I'm thinking about the process that was, put in place, and you're picking up the ball and you're pushing it down the field here. Is this going to be a rapid pace? Is this something we're going to see get to the Supreme Court and have to be ruled on there? How do you envision this process likely unfolding? I'm not a legal mind. I always refer to the appeal in the court system as the foul ball of baseball. Like, you think this pitch, it's it. It's full count. It's bottom of the ninth. They're 2 outs. This is it. And then it's a foul ball, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do this all over again. So how do you envision this process moving forward? What kind of timeline are we looking at?
So I think it'll be a couple of years, and I won't get too far into the weeds. It's a different process than normal litigation. 3 judges will actually consider this at the outset, and then our very first appeal, instead of being to a court of appeals, will be to the U.S. Supreme Court. But even though it'll be a quicker than normal process, I think we're still talking about 18 months to 2 years before the court would hear this. And I'm certain. I mean, if we lose, we're going to appeal. If the people who've been letting all these illegal immigrants in lose, they're going to appeal. So yeah. If the court takes the case, that's where it'll get decided finally.
We're speaking with the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, Catherine Hanaway. Do you anticipate, has it happened already, other attorneys general coming together to support these efforts from other states?
I do anticipate it happening. This is the first of its kind in the country lawsuit. I would anticipate that we will see most of the Republican AGs join. Now, some of them are in a little bigger states who may have bigger illegal populations, so they'll have to do the calculation on whether they're losing a congressional seat. This, to me, and the reason I wanted to file it, is that I think Missourians have been disproportionately hurt by this. Even though it's a big federal issue, for me, this is the core of my job, to stand up for Missourians getting their fair share.
Yes.
And that's what this suit's about.
Amen. I always appreciate watching Missouri do their thing and knowing that it's possible as an Illinois resident myself. We have not a single Republican in representation anywhere. And I would assume that in the state of Illinois, the disadvantage that Missouri has been subjected to because of the inflation of populations from these blue states, especially one neighboring right now, that, of course, Illinois would see some of their influence in the federal government get knocked down, their ability to influence the presidential election. But I think that also would potentially open up Republicans for an opportunity to compete in those blue states a little bit more as well, at least fairly, I would say. I wanted to ask you a question about the fraud that's taking place across the country that we're finding out a little bit here, a little bit there, but definitely in Minnesota. I can't imagine a scenario where Governor Tim Walz, Mayor Jacob Fry, those are the two prominent political figures we see right there in the news currently, but also the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, in Minnesota. One of two things is happening there. Either they knew all about the fraud and they've turned their eye willfully away from it, or they're so bad at their job that they had no idea about this fraud. I'm curious of your assessment on what is taking place right now in Minnesota.
It feels like a little bit of both to me, Annie, truly. They had to have some hint. It's just too widespread. Now, here in Missouri, we're asking ourselves the hard question. I've been in touch with the governor and his team to say, hey, let's be proactive. Let's look around. There's got to be at least some, because bad people live everywhere. We don't have this huge Somali population. We do have an active Medicaid fraud unit that's constantly bringing cases. But we're talking not only with the governor's office, but with the U.S. attorney's offices in St. Louis and Kansas City. And, we're proactively saying, let's take a hard look at ourselves and make sure we don't look anything like Minnesota. And I know we don't, but there's some. Like, this is taxpayer money. We ought to spend it on, if it's for daycare, let's spend it on daycare, not lying in somebody's pockets.
Yes, amen to that. I mean, who should be the buck stopper in a situation like this in Minneapolis? Obviously, crimes would have to be committed for you to be able to get into the process and participate in the prosecution of weeding that out. But it seems to me like nobody in Minnesota specifically is taking responsibility. There's the talk that California is going to be the next big story in the fraud department. Like, who is the buck stopper here to make sure that they have an environment that doesn't welcome this type of fraud?
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be the Department of Justice under President Trump. It's going to have to prosecute the criminals up there. I don't see any of those Minnesota officials doing the right thing.
Yeah. You think it's worse than has been reported? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think we probably just know the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it seems like it was just like a family business. Like, this is what we do. You just tap into the federal government and nobody's going to ask any questions, and it's somebody else's money anyway, so let's just go.
Yeah. We're speaking with the Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway. Another question I'd like to ask you, kind of in hand a bit with the news over the weekend, where we have found out that you have launched a sweeping lawsuit to block Census from counting illegal immigrants. I think part of this also goes to, it's the same department area of the case in front of the Supreme Court right now. It's the birthright citizenship case. But then also we're talking about the SAVE Act in Congress and whether or not voter ID should have to be part of your voting process. I was just having a discussion with some family over the weekend about whether or not it would be constitutional to require some sort of identification to vote. And, I'm just trying to think of other instances where we're required to produce identification to verify who we are. It's not like the law is trying to be changed here. You're not allowed to vote unless you're a citizen, correct? That's already the law of the land.
Yes, that is the law of the land, and you have to produce identification to buy beer, buy a firearm, buy tobacco products. You certainly should be required to produce ID to exercise the privilege of deciding how we are governed as a nation, and I'm optimistic that that's going to become the law of the land. Yeah. We've been trying hard here in Missouri for a long time to make it the law, and our court keeps throwing it out. But we're up in front of the court again on this very issue. So the Missouri Supreme Court.
I just think about all of the different angles to try to restore some reliability, some integrity to our election system. Your lawsuit being a key part of that. Last question before we let you go. Speaking with Catherine Hanaway, the Missouri Attorney General here. If you were successful in this, and again, you were talking about this is a long game situation. It's not going to be, ruled on before the midterms, and we're not going to get a new census done before the midterms, or likely it's before the next presidential election. How transformative do you anticipate, should you win in this lawsuit, to only count citizens, legal residents of this country in the census? How consequential do you anticipate it might be?
Oh, I think it certainly could change the balance of power in Congress and change that balance of power for the next several decades. Less impactful on the presidential election, but could turn the tide in a very close race for sure. So it's really important. It's really, really important. And Annie, I just want you to say thank you for covering it. And I've been meaning to call you or text you to say how wonderful I thought your interview with Jim Talent was after Venezuela was invaded. It gave such great perspective on how important that was for our national foreign policy.
Well, thank you. All credit to Jim Talent, because I just asked the dumb questions and he's got all the good answers. Much like having a conversation with you. It's good to have access to really smart people doing pretty cool things. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks for having me on again.
All right. Absolutely. Keep fighting the fight. We'll have you back soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway of the state of Missouri, she put out that this lawsuit was being filed, and Elon Musk liked the tweet or post or whatever you call whatever it is now on X. It's just easier to say tweet. Everybody knows what it is. You say tweet, you say post. It could mean a whole bunch of things. That could be a paper on the corkboard at church. Anyway, a tweet. She put it up there, and Elon Musk liked it, which, okay, you get like a badge for that. Hooray for an Elon Musk like on something you put up on X. I'll call it X while I'm talking about Elon Musk. However, that amplifies the reach of that, and definitely it has seemed like it's a very popular initiative, and it is an important front to be present on and battling on in our efforts to restore some integrity to our country. If you really think about this is really important. If you think about how we apportion the power in our country. So if you're here legally, you heard it from the Attorney General yourself there, you don't have to just be a citizen, you have a green card, you're here permanent on a legal status, you're in, you're good, you're counted. If we had things like that in place, if we knew that Congress was an actual representation of the people who had gone through the process, the system, and made a commitment to the United States of America, that was the type of person who was going to be counted in the way we apportion power in our government system, if you knew that when it was time to go vote for an election, that only the people who have the actual right to vote, which is already a law. It's not like saying that, when you talk about having to present an ID, it's really ironic that the Democrats are like, Jim Crow, and you're like, but that's you guys. The Democrats are the ones who try to limit people's access to the polls. And not people, but like black people. Specifically, the Democrats were the ones who, after we decided to count as a country, black people as whole people and not 3/5 of people. You remember that when the Republicans were fighting for the integrity of the whole person of a black individual, and that the Democrats were like, oh, not so fast. We're not so comfortable with this. The civil rights movement, pushed by the Republicans, held up by the Democrats. At every turn, it's the same story all the time. You have another instance where you say, we want to protect the right of that person who has the legal opportunity to vote for how the direction of this country will move from moment to moment. We want to only allow the right that is in existence right now for those people who are here with legal status. Who says no to that? Somebody who is relying on a perversion of the system as it stands right now in order to retain power. Then you have to look at, okay, so if those people get power, what does it look like? Not a country that I want to live in, not a country that reflects the American constitutional ideas that our founding fathers set forth. So around every single turn here, you have a party that's constantly looking to try to manipulate Elections, our election system, who could access. You want to talk about limiting access? When you have the left push back significantly against, this is what the SAVE Act is trying to accomplish. When you have the left trying to say, we can't require IDs to vote, they say Black people can't get identification. And then you see, I always ask you this question, Brad, who's the guy who was going around New York City and asking people about voter ID?
Ami Horowitz.
It's like the number one statistic or fact that Brad knows, and I never know it. You've got Ami Horowitz, this is years ago, going around New York City and be like, Republicans think that you should have Democrats, or Republicans think that you should have to show identification to vote. And Democrats think that it's racist because Black people could have a difficulty accessing IDs. And then this Black man stops, pauses, pulls his head back and looks at him like, what did you just say to me? And then he gave the address to the DMV, like the actual physical address. He's like, oh, you mean the DMV that's right there, 123 Main Street, down around the corner? It's so offensive. It's so ridiculous. It's so actually racist to suggest that Black folks out there or that minorities or essentially anybody other than white people would have a hindrance in order to get an identification. Please stop. No, we just need to verify that those people who are accessing the very, very important power of casting a vote in an election are the right people that are given that right, of course, by God, confirmed through our constitutional process to be able to do that. And the Democrats, for whatever reason, they're around every turn, they're like, no, we don't want to do that. Catherine Hanaway, of course, the Attorney General from the state of Missouri, picking up that mantle and running with it to ensure that let's take it one step further. Let's make sure that the people who we count in order to permit that power to be handed out state by state by state, let's ensure that that power is apportioned correctly. And let's only count those legal status folks in the United States during our census process. All right, let's take a quick break. Ethan's America. Ryan's out. He'll be back Wednesday. Ethan's America next.
If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
License number GL2500615.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Home power used to be simple. Now the car plugs in, the scooter plugs in, the space heater plugs in, and your electric panel starts popping.
That sounds bad, but I like popcorn.
Popcorn is great, sparks are not. Call Grasser. We'll upgrade your panel so you can run it all.
Electric and plumbing, the Grasser way.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
This is the part where I'm supposed to talk. Wow. In true Ryan fashion, right? Pausing there before the time check. Today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you support Missouri Attorney General Hanaway's lawsuit to count only citizens in the U.S. Census? Just two options today, yes or no. And we just had Attorney General Catherine Hanaway on just a moment ago discussing some of the latest work that she has been doing. And I know that in just a few minutes, that is going to be available to listen to on the Odyssey app if you happened to miss that interview. So we'll have that up in just a couple of minutes, but be sure to go and vote on today's YouTube live chat poll, and then we'll be sharing the results here in just a couple of hours. The time is 12:44. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. 25 years strong. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins.
Not Wiggins America. Ethan's America.
Oh.
Ethan's America.
You know, part of me wondered, New Year, the whole New Year, new me thing.
Didn't I tell
maybe
you?
there was going to be a New Year, new Ryan Wiggins.
Didn't I tell you that you should create your new opening?
You did. It's just too much work.
That's the most Ryan thing you've ever said. You're doing a great job.
You know what this chair does to me.
Yes, I do.
I don't think you like what this chair does to me.
It's like an obstinate, defiant chair. You get there and all of a sudden it's just like...
Yeah, I'm like the rebellious teenager.
Yeah.
That just is like, you know what, I'm going to do and say what I want.
It's like the rash on the show. Just kind of like, little
a terrible description.
boils and pussy.
That is an awful description.
Yeah, it is what
Thank
it
you.
is. Did you hear Catherine Hanaway talking and all that?
I heard some of it, yes.
I love talking to her. I love that the Missouri Attorney General position is one of such consistent BA-ery. Is that a word?
Sure, we can act like it is.
Yeah.
I appreciate also just her enjoyment in listening to the station, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's a participant.
we didn't expect her to at the 25th anniversary show. She was not a planned part of the show. She just showed up, and that's who she is. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to have that connection and her to want to communicate with the people, not doing it as a favor, having a strong desire to communicate what she is doing with the citizens of Missouri.
And that's really what happens when you have a legacy conservative FM talk station in St. Louis. This is year 26 for 97.1 as talk radio on the FM side, conservative talk over the years. And when you go through, I guess it started in 2000 of an iteration of what it is right now before it really became what we are today. It's 100% a testament to folks like you who are listening right now. And I know that when I say folks like you who are listening right now, you're not all the same. The fact of the matter is that people trust the station to have fun. I think that's one lane that I try to, from noon to 3, the importance that I feel upon myself, and it's really just as somebody who's existing in a crazy, crazy world where the headlines, you don't go through the headlines and feel good when you're done, ever. It's not like you list the top 10 headlines and at the end you're like, all right, I'm refreshed. That's not really the way it goes. I got to make sure that, just like I do for myself, that the priorities stay in order. You keep the priorities in order. And the politics of everything matter because of the things that are your priorities. That the priority in and of itself is not the politics of the thing, which is why I think that protecting our culture, protecting our hearts, our minds, our souls from the culture is something that is really important to me. And we try to communicate that here. So it's like more family first and then politics second
Yeah.
on the show.
And she, I would argue, she probably views herself a little bit in that as well. You know, when you're around long enough, you connect,
Yeah.
right? And I think that
cool to be a part
that's
of.
something unique on behalf of our listeners. And she falls into that as well, Catherine Hanaway.
Very
So,
cool.
All right. Ethan's America time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a Monday roundup. Of course, you wouldn't know that based off of my intro, but it is still a Monday roundup. And I think I know our audience pretty well, and I think I know what most of them were doing last night.
Do you think you know our audience more than Ryan?
I think that most of them were not watching the Grammys.
No. I posted on X. I
Wait,
said
were watching the Grammys? They were?
weren't.
Got it.
I posted on X. I don't even remember how I worded it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw that they were on. It infiltrated every corner of my social media, and I was like, I don't really want to have to do with anything. I said, would you listen more or less to my Monday talk show if I promised not to watch the Grammys? And 79.5% of the voters said they'd listen more.
If you didn't talk about
If I didn't.
it. Well,
If I didn't watch them, and I didn't watch them.
Well, rebellious child over here. Bringing it up. That's what I do.
Okay.
We're going to rip this off like a Band-Aid. We're just going to get it over with.
Good.
I don't know if even like just music heads in general, I don't know if anyone cares about the results of the Grammys anymore.
No.
I don't know if they even matter.
I remember buying the CD after the Grammys that was like the songs that were the features of the Grammys. Like Grammys 20 or probably like 1995. And Waterfalls is on there or something.
I don't even understand how some of that's a good one. I don't even know how some of it works anymore. I saw something last night. Billie Eilish's Wildflower won Song of the Year, and I saw something that said it was up last year.
Oh my
and
gosh,
didn't win.
Waterfalls is 1995. I just took a
Wow.
stab on that.
Nice.
Go on.
Good call.
Thank you.
I don't even understand how any of it works. But anyway.
First of all, you pay to be submitted, then you lobby, and then you're in the club.
It's dumb.
I almost said gold.
dumb.
And then
Well.
and then you win because you have a Super Bowl show coming up.
It's pretty sad that the awards at this point don't even like get the attention. I mean, nobody cares. Some of the performances are decent sometimes, but people care more, I feel like, about the political messages being sent out now more than it feels like they ever have, and there certainly were plenty of those last night. Bad Bunny, you mentioned, is going to be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. He won the Grammy for Best Album, and he was quoted saying, "Before I say thanks to God, I'm going to say ice out."
That's a quote?
Yes.
If your sentence ever says, "Before I say thanks to God," you've already lost the plot, bud.
We're not savages. We're not animals. We're not aliens. We are humans, and we are Americans. Yeah, that was Bad Bunny's quote. Billie Eilish.
I am moved to change my mind on the issue.
You more excited for the Super Bowl halftime show now?
It would be very hard to be less excited.
He honestly, here's the funny part: is that was pretty mild compared to some of them. I mean,
I did see that Bad Bunny's message was a little bit more about love.
Was it?
Yeah, a quote that I read or something was like, we can't overcome what we oppose with hate. It has to be with love. And I was like, okay, whatever.
That's nice. Yeah. That's a real nice.
It's better than F you.
Well, that's what Billie Eilish said. Basically, she said,
Wait a second. I know you brought this up. I have thoughts. I just didn't want to share them. Billie Eilish doesn't need to say F you. If you look at her face is F you all the time. There's an entire generation of kids that are this age who just look at you with the "you're the dumbest person I've ever met" face, which is really just a longer way of saying F you, but now it's just your face, but then she used her mouth too.
The RBF. I honestly don't feel like I need to say anything, but no one is illegal on stolen land.
Another thing. God dang you, Ethan. That's not even factual. If you believe it's stolen land, then everyone is illegal on the stolen land.
I would love to see what her house looks like if there's a big old gate in front of her house. I'd be curious. Just curious if she's got security.
No one. This is a woman who was raised in the bed of luxury and access, homeschooled, was a super hit by the time she was 17 because she had all the things. And now she's up there in her bazillions of dollars of sweatshirts, I don't know what she wore last night. I did see there were extra belts. There were extra belts on her outfit. They didn't even have function.
That's nice.
That one lady who had the dress hanging from her nipples could have used a belt to put that dress up a little higher.
Missouri's own.
Oh, hell.
Loud and proud. Loud and proud, baby.
I think she sings a song that I really like.
She does have a couple of good
Is
ones.
she Pink Pony Club?
Yep.
Oh, heck, that's not it.
Hot to Go.
Never heard of it.
H-O-T-T-O-G-O. Come on,
Submitting
Annie.
this. I think if for $500 I can submit what you just did there for a Grammy.
Okay. And I might
And
win.
if I sell my soul, you might win.
Olivia Dean used her moment after winning Best New Artist to highlight her immigrant background, saying she owes everything to her parents.
Here's another
who are
thing.
immigrants.
Her immigrant background, aren't they all saying that we're all immigrants? Super special you are.
I wouldn't be here. I'm a product of bravery, and those people deserve to be celebrated.
That's what they keep saying. They say that you can't be against illegal immigrants because we're all products of immigrants. Which is not actually true if you go back to the other point from the other crazy lady who said that we're on stolen land, which means that there aren't all immigrants because there are people here who are here first, and we, the settlers, are no, she says that we're legal because we're all legal.
Before
These people can't even keep their stories straight.
Before we wrap here, I wanted to make sure that we got in this reminder from Ricky Gervais. This was a couple of years ago at the Golden Globes, and I feel like it's just it's important to remind the people of Hollywood of this message. Can we make sure my audio is on here?
Oh.
Yep.
No one really watches network TV. Everyone's watching Netflix. This show should just be me coming out going, well done, Netflix, you win everything. Good night. But no, we got to drag it out for 3 hours. You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer. And it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Shut up.
You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and off, okay?
And
There is the message.
And at the end of this, you got Tom Hanks looking as guilty as sin. Now, I don't know that he's guilty of anything, but his face is like, this is a lot here from Ricky Gervais.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is that Trevor Noah was not exactly of that same vein. That Trevor Noah is going to get a visit from Donald Trump's lawyers.
I think he is.
Yes. I didn't hear what the actual quote was about, but there was a connection between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
And Greenland.
Greenland?
He said he wants a new island. Like, that's why he's getting Greenland, so he has a new island to hang out with.
Yeah, and Trump goes through this whole diatribe on True Social talking about how much of a loser Trevor Noah is. And he's like, oh, by the way, here come my lawyers.
Uh-huh.
I'm so Trumpian.
It's on the way.
Oh, man. Don't go away. In the next hour, we're going to speak with Steve Moore and Katie Pavlich back on the show with us. And in the 2 o'clock hour, that government shutdown, let's get the latest from Congresswoman Mary Miller. We'll be right back.
Soft, it's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another. For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 6 or Saturday afternoon at 4, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
It's not a sure thing in the U.S. House. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Democrats pushing for talks on reining in immigration enforcement operations even before a House vote on a Senate package that would end a partial government shutdown. Kansas Republican Senator Roger Marshall telling Fox.
Well, I think the body cameras probably is reasonable, but the idea of take the mask down. Look, we have folks back home that are being doxxed. They're having to hire personal security for their children even.
The Senate deal would fund most of the government through September, but includes only a stopgap bill for Homeland Security, allowing a few weeks to negotiate. So far, it still needs to clear a procedural hurdle in the House. For now, it's day 3 of the partial shutdown. 2 more arrests stemming from an anti-ICE protest inside a Minnesota church.
Attorney General Pam Bondi announced in a post on X that Ian Davis Austin and Jerome D'Angelo Richardson have been arrested for their roles in the protest at the city's church last month in St. Paul. They're among 9 named in a federal indictment, including former cable news anchor Don Lemon, charged with conspiracy and intimidating or interfering with the right of religious freedom at a place of worship. So far, magistrate judges have declined to keep the protesters detained pending a trial, and one magistrate judge rejected the complaint against Lemon, who said he was there as a reporter.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The indictment accuses protesters of aggressively blocking aisles in the church and disrupting the service in search of a pastor who also works as an acting ICE field director. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says ICE is causing chaos and carnage. She's proposing legislation to limit how and when agents can operate in the state.
Hochul's new proposal, called the Local Cops Local Crimes Act, would ban agreements between New York counties and ICE that allow local resources such as officers or jails to assist with civil immigration enforcement.
Fox's CB Cotton. The governor says some cooperation would be allowed for active criminal investigations. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Sunshine on this Groundhog Day afternoon with better temperatures above freezing anyway, but still well below average. 38 for the high. Tonight, lots of clouds, 25. Tuesday, clouds, a couple of snow flurries, and 33. A fall to 17 Tuesday night. Wednesday, partly sunny and 31, but warmer in the 40s Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
We are firing on all cylinders here at the Trump White House. I think that the Trump's op-ed that you just talked about really laid out the case, the very, very strong case for what we've been doing. And don't forget that when we were here in the spring of last year, everybody was saying that we're going to cause a global recession and so on. And President Trump just went really into the mouth of the beast. He went to Davos and he said, hey, not only is the U.S. booming with our growth north of 5%, but you guys are booming too, because when the U.S. booms, the world booms. And so we are reordering the world order, and it's going to end up being great for everybody. Now, in terms of what you can expect in the months ahead, that we are absolutely focused like a laser beam, here on Sundays, getting ready for the President's State of the Union address, where he's going to lay out a housing agenda, an affordability agenda, and so on. But the bottom line is that there are great, great things coming next year. All of the big, beautiful bill refunds are going to start coming into people's pockets, and we expect that will move these polls.
Kevin Hassett talking on Fox News about what is to come here with the 2026 year in economics. Definitely, we've heard a lot of things about what is in store, and people are suggesting that 2026 is going to be a pretty incredible year economically. And there are a lot of things with the big, beautiful bill that got put into place that we're anticipating with great positivity. If you're like me and you're watching the economy and you're kind of hoping for the best, you're looking at your 401k going, not too bad. That big, beautiful bill is going to make the tax return process, the tax, that we're going to see some really incredible things happening here in 2026 as people start filing their taxes, getting their returns in. And then there are other things that have been implemented as well. And one of those things is SNAP eligibility rules. They've taken effect here at the beginning of February. So it's not just about the money that you have to pay in. We're seeing a lot of focus from this administration about the money that they are paying out. Add to all the top of that, the investigation into fraud, waste, and abuse. Let's talk to the man who actually knows about the economy and doesn't just have the questions like I do. Steve Moore back with us, co-founder of the Committee for Prosperity and host of More Money. Thanks for being with us, Steve. It's good to have you back.
Thank you, Annie. Good to be with you.
So I want to ask you a few questions here, just on the outlook here for 2026. I'll tell you, last night I was getting all of my tax stuff in order, getting ready to go see my tax person. There's a lot of anticipation right now about what this tax season is going to look like. Some positivity, I think, for people, hopefulness.
Well, one thing people should be prepared for and should be very excited about is that you're going to pay less taxes this year than you did last year, because the big beautiful bill really kicks in, especially for service workers who gets tips. You get the no tax on tips kicks in, and then also with respect to no tax on overtime, that's a big one for millions of workers, and then the people will get bigger. Those probably if you depending on how you do your withholding, you're probably going to get more money in each paycheck now this year because less money will be withheld. So, look, I'm super bullish on the U.S. economy. I continue to be. All all of the economic indicators are pointing north right now. We're seeing, nice gains in income. Inflation is coming down. As you just mentioned, 401k plans doing very well over the last 12 months. NASDAQ, S&P 500, Dow Jones at all-time highs. It's a very healthy economy.
Yeah, it's exciting to be thinking about a positive economic future. Certainly a big change, I assume. I'm hoping that you can kind of give us the lay of the land here with the Fed chair, the announcement of Kevin Warsh to be the nominee, I suppose, for the new Fed chair, I guess, in May, when Jerome Powell will vacate his seat. What are your thoughts on this announcement? You think he will get through?
Well, he's a great choice. Kevin's a very smart economist, very smart monetary expert. He needs to, by the way, he understands that when you have more economic growth, that leads to less inflation, not more inflation. I just wrote a column about him and basically said that he has to do several things right out of the gate. The first thing he has to do is just clean house at the Fed. It is one of the most overly bureaucratic organizations. I mean, there's cobwebs in most of the offices. Nobody does anything. And they have 3,000 people in Washington, 3,000 people to set the interest rates. That's ridiculous. So I think, and by the way, most of the people there are careerist bureaucrats who probably are going to try to undermine everything Kevin Warsh wants to do. So I'd say, he's promised he's going to cut 30% of the staff. And I think that's a great thing, because if you're going to be running the monetary system of the United States and have control over, how much money flows in the economy, you've got to set a good example. I mean, Jerome Powell was building a Taj Mahal, $2 billion right there off of Constitution Avenue, and that made no sense. So he's got to clean the house. Second of all, he has to stick to the one mandate, which is to keep inflation under control and keep the dollar strong and stable, because we benefit so greatly from being the world reserve currency. You travel anywhere in the world and people want dollars, right? So we need to maintain that status and make sure that China's yuan doesn't take over. I don't think it's going to happen, but we want a strong and stable dollar.
When you replace a Fed chair, when that takes place after the natural term of Jerome Powell is over in a few months here, is that something that consumers do? Average people of average intelligence like me notice that with any sort of quickness, or is that something that kind of gets put into place and it eases its way into the system down to Main Street?
Well, first of all, I think Jerome Powell should just leave now. He's a lame duck. No, I mean he's been a terrible
Is that possible?
Fed chairman, and he's been the most political chairman. He's been out to get Trump, and that's one of the reasons those two have never really gotten along, although he was originally appointed by Trump. And every time I see him, he says, Steve, I made a big mistake with Jerome Powell. I said, yes, sir, you did.
Yeah,
It was
you
a
did.
bad choice. But he should just get out. I mean, why not put the new regime in right away so we can correct the course? He's the one who gave us the 9% inflation. For anyone out there, I don't know if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, if you're angry about the high prices of things, don't blame Trump. Don't blame the Republicans. It was basically Joe Biden and Jerome Powell who conspired to spend and borrow $4 trillion, and that led to the runaway inflation that we're still feeling.
So before we let you go, we're speaking with Steve Moore, of course. Visit committeetounleashprosperity.com and check out the More Money show that you do. I think that there are several other interesting facets to the approach to the whole economy that this administration has had. A commitment to try to bring to light, into the spotlight, the fraud, waste, and abuse that's going on, but also in a completely different area, investing again in made in America, creating jobs and a culture that actually respects the integrity of participating in work. Do you think that this administration has a whole approach to restoring our economy to maybe what President Trump might refer to as great?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the three things that he's done right out of the gate that have been hugely important for the fast growth of the economy, we're going almost 5% now, is number one, obviously the big, beautiful tax bill that has reduced the impediments to growth. In fact, we gave businesses a big incentive, tax incentive to invest more, and guess what? They're investing record amounts in the country, and the more a country invests and plant and equipment and machinery and so on, the more jobs you get for Americans. So that's been a very, very positive development. And then you've had the deregulation. He's reduced hundreds of regulations, which add to costs. And then there's the drill, baby, drill. And all three of those things have had enormous benefits to the U.S. economy. And he's got to keep that up. And the one thing we need to do is bring spending down. And, the Democrats fought for as much spending as they could possibly get. I think it's still too high, but it was a pretty good budget that we're about to pass.
Okay. Well, there's a lot to talk about, and we'll continue to be. Thank you, Steve Moore, for always being here with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Eddie.
Take care. Bye-bye. Co-founder of the Committee for Prosperity. I encourage you to get his hotline. Email comes out and really can kind of give a consumable overview of what's going on in the economy and data points that back up, so you're not just having a conversation about, it's really hard to have a discussion, well, for some, about the economy just based on feelings. If it's not something that's rooted in facts and statistics and dollar figures, it's like, what are we even talking about? I can look at my bank account and I can be sad, but that doesn't make the bank account get any bit better. That's kind of the way the country is headed right now, I think, in such a positive direction, where you have President Trump really investing in our economic future in a way that I haven't really seen in my lifetime. I've talked before about George W. Bush, a special place in my heart in the wake of 9/11. And, I was 17, so I wasn't digesting every policy or, connection that might be there. I know a lot of people in the conservative movement are not very bullish on George W. Bush. I still think of him with an overall positive outlook, but the conservatism, which is probably just the influence of populism in it today, is very different than anything I've seen in my lifetime. Just like if you were to, you could kind of compare the converse of conservatism today to George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush. Democrats, if you reflect on the time, the policy, the process of Bill Clinton, at least politically, pretty stark difference there as well. All right, let's take a break. Do you support, on the YouTube live chat poll, do you support Missouri Attorney General Hanaway's lawsuit to count only citizens in the United States Census? Yes or no? Simple question right there. Ethan can read texts, right? Ethan can get the text thing up, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Let's get your text messages in on this as well. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. If you want to send us a text, Ethan will fill in for Ryan Wiggins, and it just transforms him into a different person. So send in the text. They're not going to Ryan today. They're going to Ethan. Let us know how you feel about Missouri Attorney General Hanaway's lawsuit to count only citizens in the U.S. Census. And also a reminder, if you're wrapping up for lunch, you've been listening to us on the radio in your car on 97.1 FM Talk, that if you download the Odyssey app, AUDACY, you can find the Annie Fry Show right there on the app, 97.1 FM Talk as well. Favorite it, and you can listen to us anywhere. We'd love to keep you company for the rest of the afternoon. We'll be right back.
But it's catchy.
The Retirement Advisory Group, we're coming out on the road once again, Tuesday, February 17th. Mark this on your calendar. It's the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event, and it starts at 6:30, Tuesday, February 17th. But if you get there early, from about 6 o'clock is when I show up. Mark and Mark will be there as well. I would love the opportunity to meet you. So come on out. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw have answers to your questions. Questions like, would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protect you from market losses at the same time? Well, obviously, yeah, you want to learn that. And you want to learn it for free. And I want to meet you. So go to 314-993-9494 or retirementkey.com and reserve your spot. Bring a friend. It starts at 6:30, and he maybe takes 45 minutes of your time. You can ask questions. You can get to know them, and then set up an appointment if you want to. You don't have to. It's free. No obligation. But I'd love the opportunity to meet you, and I'd love to see you at the Doubletree Chesterfield, right off 64 West and Chesterfield Parkway on Tuesday, February 17th. Get there early if you want to meet me, but it starts at 6:30 p.m. Register at 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, it's Mark Cox inviting you to join me September 30th as we discover the charm of Switzerland, Austria, and Germany with Colette Travel. Spend 4 nights in Bern and then 4 nights at the foot of the Alps in Innsbruck. From the cobblestone streets to the postcard-worthy mountain landscapes of the amazing Alps, we're going to explore the Swiss capital of Bern and lovely Lucerne, the Swiss paradise on the lake. We'll travel the Austrian countryside to Salzburg with a visit to Mozart's birthplace, and then Mirabelle Gardens featured in The Sound of Music. This and so much more. Colette handles all the details. The flights, the meals, the hotels, the local experiences. All you have to do is have the time of your life. Don't miss this trip. Meet me and the folks from Colette to learn more at the Lodge at De Pere, Tuesday, February 24th at 2 p.m. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or go to 971talk.com/events for details.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
Never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. Tired of living like a blind man. I'm sick aside without a sense of feeling, and this is how you remind me. This is how you remind me of what I really am. This is
All right, I'm going to be honest and say I could have told you very, very clearly back in the day, but Nickelback and Creed kind of cross paths for me, and I always have to be like, is this Nickelback or Creed? I was listening last night to Creed's song Higher, because maybe...
Because you're in an American mood.
Maybe my favorite song ever.
Higher by Creed.
Yes. And that's like has always been the case since it came out. You know, there are a few songs that hit you and you can listen to them on repeat always. But there is such a small amount of songs that fit that category.
I really thought that they were, the way that everyone was kind of hyping it up, they were going to be the headliner for the All-American halftime show.
Yes.
But they're not.
Well,
it's a pretty good consolation what we're getting.
Turning Point USA has launched their rival halftime show with a star-studded lineup. This is according to Fox News, so I don't know that this is how the Ms. Now, a headline, would preface it. As NFL faces Super Bowl backlash. I don't think that the Super Bowl is facing backlash. The halftime show, I don't think it's facing backlash.
I guess I'd say define backlash.
I will define the backlash as people who care more about their politics than they do about the NFL or the football game.
Very few.
It is a big deal in your circle, but outside of it, nobody cares. The majority of people, first of all, Bad Bunny, brand new Album of the Year winner by the Grammys. I know you guys don't care. He is popular worldwide.
Very.
You can't argue his popularity, correct?
Correct.
Not debatable.
Not debatable at all. He's the most popular artist in the world.
Okay. And because it's art and because it's music, we don't have to care. We don't have to like him. You have the right to look at him and say, Bad Bunny is terrible. To which I would say, why? You got to know a little bit about him to have that opinion about him if you're talking about his music or if you're talking about his presentation as an artist. There is not a halftime show that gets put together where people are super excited and pumped. Like that, it is a universal high five, thumbs up, A+. You guys hit this one out of the park. The closest thing I can think of to having that is the 90s hip hop one that took place maybe 4 years ago with Snoop Dogg. And, you had all the hip hop stars. But like people like you, Ethan, was that like a big deal for you?
No, not for me, but I mean, I know people that weren't happy about it. Older people. But I mean, that's even an example, even that one that had a lot of appeal.
That one was for the Gen Xers.
Yes.
So they gave the Gen X people.
And it was really good. It surprised me.
A lot of people ended up watching it and going, okay. Like 50 Cent hanging upside down, rapping, and then everyone's like, that guy looks like $1 because he was a little
75
heavy.
cents.
Yeah.
It's like inflation hitting.
$1.25.
And like the one person in Hollywood who can handle that with like who can take that and make it, no pun intended, bigger and beneficial to him, 50 Cent is that guy. Thank you.
Yep.
And I just think like who was it last year? Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
That wasn't for me. Kendrick Lamar was probably for your generation, right?
Mm-hmm. I didn't even like it.
Who else was there?
SZA. SZA. Definitely my generation.
Is that CZA?
SZA.
SZA?
Yeah.
I never knew how to say that.
Serena Williams.
I don't know if that is how you say it. That's just how I say it.
So.
Oh, yeah. Serena Williams was there.
She was doing the Crip Walk or
Yeah,
something.
she was doing the Crip Walk.
Serena Williams was the closest it got to my territory. Like, I know her. I've heard of her.
The whole thing was just a giant Drake diss track. That's
okay.
all it was.
And like that means something to some people. The NFL, here's what I really think materializes out of this. I think that they're playing 100% to the internet, digital, social, TikTok world. I think that this content in the Super Bowl materializes into so much post-game, literally, traction that's what it's about. It's actually not about this was going to be an Ask Me Anything question, and I didn't ask it last week, but I'll ask it right now. We could talk about it later if you think more on it and get an answer to it. But what would your dream halftime show be? And mine is frontman Chris Stapleton and every person that Chris Stapleton wants to pull in that is like guitar centered. John Mayer, Mud on the Tires, Brad Paisley, that type of person. Some fancy guitar, like Eric Clapton, if he would do it. But like I'm thinking of like the heavy rock band. So like you could touch all the different kind of genres where guitar is featured, but in a really different way. But led by Chris Stapleton, because Chris Stapleton's Super Bowl national anthem is one of my favorite musical things that has ever been done. Now, that's me, and I understand that, but I think you could do that and center a halftime show around something kind of like guitars, which to me fits really well into that 40 to 60-year-old man who's watching it, who loves it. That's what the whole production is about. But then you could reach it out into the different genres and touch all different people. But I don't think it's about the people watching the halftime show at the time. I don't think that's what it is anymore. I think it's all the post-game, social media, short, easily consumable video. I think that's what it all is. There's a money play here, and they don't really care what anyone thinks.
They're trying to globalize the sport, and Bad Bunny is a global icon. So I understand what they're trying to do. It just feels like in the process, they are running the risk of neglecting their main demographic, their main audience.
But their main demographic is the NFL fan, and they're not going anywhere because they're there for the game.
Yes, but simultaneously, if your main core of fans is constantly rolling their eyes at this, I think that it is disrespectful to the most loyal of people that have watched your sport for as long as they have. Now, let me just say this. Back to Chris Stapleton. This might be a thing that could happen eventually. The reason I say that is because Nashville is in the process of finishing a brand new stadium. It is going to be one of the most modern, best stadiums in the country. It wouldn't surprise me if eventually they get a Super Bowl there.
Yeah.
It was just a few years ago that Southern Cal hosted for the first time, and that's why they did that theme with all of the 90s rappers, because it was out there.
Let's talk more about it here a little bit later in the show. We've got Katie Pavlich coming on with us in just a few minutes here, and she just interviewed President Trump for her News Nation show. Katie Pavlich tonight on News Nation at 9 p.m., She's going to be back with us here in just a minute. We're going to talk about that interview and her new show and Don Lemon. Got to talk a little bit about Don Lemon, right? I think Don Lemon thinks it's good to be Don Lemon. We'll see if it continues to be that way. Katie Pavlich next on the Annie Fry Show. So we spent all last week talking to you about Lutheran education, and we raised $7,000 for the Annie Fry Show Scholarship, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. I talked to a lot of you over this weekend, had some Lutheran basketball conference tournaments games to go to, and there were so many of you who were so generous in your donations throughout the course of the year last year. This is really how LESA, the Lutheran Elementary School Association, makes Lutheran education even more accessible than it already is for local kids. In Missouri and in Illinois alike, there are 34 total elementary Lutheran schools, 4 high schools with one more coming, I think, in Washington County this fall. If you've considered an alternative to public education for your kid, but you haven't quite found the right place yet, please consider touring, going to an open house for a Lutheran school. You can learn all you need to know about the Lutheran education in the St. Louis area at lesastl.org/Annie.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesideRD.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan. For the people.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Still leading 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court.
Well, we look forward to it too, like a lot, Don Lemon. There in front of the press, reading from his statement. I assumed that his lawyers wrote for him. You know, Don Lemon, known for his very fair and balanced coverage and his journalism. Now he's saying that this idea of him being persecuted for being a journalist, that he'll win in court. Now, I want to talk to somebody who I've seen and watched cover the news for quite some time and now is doing so on her primetime show on News Nation at 9 p.m. here Central. Katie Pavlich tonight. Katie Pavlich with us back on the Annie Fry Show. Katie, welcome back. It's always good to have you with us.
Hi, Annie. Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here. Happy Monday.
So you know what it takes to go in, you know, what Don Lemon has done in his professional career as a show host or whatever. I don't really know that I would call him a journalist. He's more of an opinion guy. What's your perspective as somebody who's been in the industry for a really long time? Don Lemon's choice to precede his crashing of that church with an explanation of what he's going to do. He goes in there, they tell him to leave, and he basically says no. And then he gets arrested, and now he's a martyr. What's your position there, Katie Pavlich, on Don Lemon's endeavors?
Well, first of all, I think he's loving all the attention. I think he's loving that he's now like, martyr Don, so to speak. But look, just because you're a journalist or you have a camera in your hand doesn't mean that you are immune from federal law. And the video and the indictment are pretty clear about what he was there to do. He's crying victim now, but the video shows him covering for these agitators who were planning this operation into this church. And then inside, the indictment says that he was blocking parishioners from leaving the premises who were terrified. One woman was even injured and broke her arm on her way out, and they were blocking adults from going to get their children from the daycare inside of the church. And so he can, claim this is all about the First Amendment, but all Americans have the First Amendment right to worship in peace and without danger. And they decided that they were going to make the move to storm a church in the middle of a service, which is illegal. Churches and synagogues are protected spaces. And I guarantee you that if the shoe were on the other foot and there was some conservative YouTuber who stormed a mosque or some other place of religious practice, that they would not be saying he was protected by the First Amendment. So, this reminds me a lot of actually, the situation in Gaza where they were saying that a bunch of journalists were being murdered. And it's like, well, if you have a camera, but you're a member of a terrorist organization, it doesn't protect you as a journalist. I mean, it's a very similar situation here.
Yeah, I got to start taking a camera with me everywhere so I'm safe. Katie Pavlich speaking with us right now. What frustrates me about this situation is everybody is, of course, in the Twitter space or whatever it might be. They're talking about Don Lemon's freedom of his First Amendment freedom of the press and everything. Why are the Christians who are gathering in a sacred place of worship, why are the Christians always the last people who also still have that First Amendment right? Why are they always the last ones to be considered?
Exactly. I mean, I think they did this obviously on purpose because they have no respect for the Christian faith, and they thought that there would be no punishment for going into a church like this. They think they've been, some people like Don Lemon have never been held accountable for anything. There's always been a double standard of what they're allowed to do in terms of violating people's rights, and then when they do it, they think it's totally legitimate. It's disgusting. It's horrific. Let's not forget there was that horrific mass shooting in a Minnesota church recently as well. So the people inside of this sanctuary thought that was what was unfolding again. You cannot go into a church service and block people from worshiping, which is exactly what they did. And your claims of journalism and the First Amendment do not trump people's also First Amendment right to practice their religion freely, especially inside of a space that is protected by federal law. And it's very interesting to watch these people who are whining about the FACE Act, which was used under the Biden administration to throw elderly people in prison for years for sitting outside of abortion clinics and praying quietly because they believe that was a violation of the FACE Act and the First Amendment. And now all of a sudden they think that it shouldn't apply when it comes to a place of worship, which is exactly what the act talks about and is in the letter of the law. So this is accountability. I think that conservatives are used to kind of the left getting away with whatever they want, but there's a new sheriff of town, and her name is Harmeet Dillon, and she's backed up by Pam Bondi, and they're going to be held accountable for the same laws that they violate that they've held other people accountable for. And I think it's a long past time that happened. And just because John Lemon wants to call himself a journalist, I mean, you could argue whatever he is, but that doesn't give you the right to impede other people's First Amendment rights. And if he wants his day in court, he's going to get one.
Yeah, just calling yourself a journalist doesn't permit you to do whatever you want. There's a journalistic integrity that you would have to maintain.
Exactly.
There are rules, and you'd have to participate in them. One thing that you said about Don Lemon that I really kind of want to drill in a little bit on, because especially having been in the media for quite some time, you get to meet a lot of people, and sometimes people, the way they are out in front is different than the way they are behind the scenes or whatever. But the Don Lemons of the world, when I watch them, you said like he's never been held accountable. We all know people in our own lives that, they don't have a microphone and a camera and, I don't know, tens of people who watch you on MSNBC or CNN, whatever it might be. But there are people who are they just are so entitled because no one's either ever had the guts, or maybe they've just participated in the grift. They don't tell these people no. There's really an accountability that exists right now in fair reporting, and there are more options for people. Of course, if you're a conservative, we're Fox News Radio affiliate station here in St. Louis. But Katie Pavlich, you've got a primetime show on News Nation. You're bringing an important voice and an alternative for people to watch. That's kind of like capitalism right there, the free market giving people choice. It makes everybody better. And Don Lemon is kind of out in the cold on YouTube right now. Well, maybe in jail for a moment. I mean, like all this stuff kind of shakes out. He's finally getting held accountable.
Yeah, and it's just this idea that Don Lemon is pretending that he's not some sort of activist. I mean, we've known for years that he's more of an activist than he is a journalist.
Yes.
I'm not saying that you can't be both. I think that citizen journalism, actually, if you're honest about where you're coming from, you're actually being more transparent with an audience about how you're approaching certain situations, and it's actually easier to understand why people would take a certain approach or a certain position on an issue. But this idea that he's like this objective journalist, the same job he's been doing for 30 years after storming a church and participating in the pre-meeting where he says to the camera, I thought, maybe I thought he was smarter than this, shame on me, but he says to the camera, we're going to come over here because we don't want to pick up the sensitive nature of the planning. So he knew that there was something going on here. And then once he got inside, he was blocking people from leaving. It's one thing to stand there and be an observer. You could still argue what he did was completely illegal and he trespassed because a church, again, is a federally protected property from disturbances like this. But he actively, according to the indictment, blocked people from leaving the premises while he demanded to know their position on President Trump's deportation agenda. It's outrageous, and I'm glad that he's being held accountable, not because he's a journalist and his rights are being violated, but because he totally ran right over the civil rights of Christians who are worshiping in their own church.
Yes. And those First Amendment rights it's all part of the same First Amendment. They have rights too.
Exactly.
And those are the people who don't have the platform and the bully pulpit that Don Lemon continues to give himself. I want to shift gears.
I think he's embarrassing himself, but he can keep doing it, whatever.
Yeah, we can cover it. It gives us something to talk about.
Exactly.
Katie Pavlich speaking with us right now. Before we let you go, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, of course, your new show on News Nation. People here in the Midwest can tune in at 9 p.m. on News Nation, but you've already had a sit-down conversation with President Trump. Just from, when you're there, when you're in the room with him and you're asking him those questions, people can go check out that whole interview. But what did you glean from sitting down there and having that conversation with President Trump, his command of the moment, of the situation, his ability to answer your questions? What'd you think?
Yeah, he seems very, I interviewed him during the first term for townhall.com and had the opportunity last week or 2 weeks ago to interview him again. And we talked a lot about the differences between his first term and his second term, just in the sense of what he's capable of getting done. And we just passed the 1 year mark of his inauguration. We interviewed him on the 1 year anniversary of that. And it seems like there's more control. It seems like everybody is on the same page. You're not seeing the same palace intrigue with the leaking and the backstabbing. The entire cabinet is on the same page as the president. It seems like they're always working and rowing in the same direction. And he seems much more comfortable with his agenda because he has people around him supporting it in a way that he couldn't really, operate in the first time around because there's so much distrust. And of course, there was all of the situation with the FBI, James Comey entrapping his top aides, and the impeachments and all of the distractions of the first term that were not his fault. They were, witch hunts by the deep state and by the people who then continued that when he was out of office for 4 years. So he seemed confident. Not that he's not ever confident, but confident that they're really getting things done in a way that is as a team, and that he's not, rolling the boulder uphill all the time as he was during the first term.
Yeah, I know that our friends on the far left they fall off their chair when I say this, but there's a little bit more of a stoicism to his confidence this time around. A little bit more of a pointing to the scoreboard. He goes back to his normal roots every once in a while, but I very much so appreciate it. Before we let you go, Katie, I know that some of the times these things are being put together and they're very happening in real time, but what do you have coming up on the show tonight at 9 o'clock on News Nation?
So we're going to talk a whole lot about the Epstein files and how the left thought this would be a silver bullet against President Trump, and all of a sudden all of their friends like Bill Gates are in them in really disgusting. Horrific ways. Absolutely disgusting. We're going to talk a little bit about the problem in Florida with all of the iguanas falling out of the trees. So we'll cover that and a couple other things that are still in the works, but 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 p.m. your time, and it should be a good show. Mondays are always fun.
Well, we will be sure to tune in. Katie Pavlich, thank you for the time this afternoon. We look forward to having you back again soon. We love talking with you.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. KatiePavlich.com. You can go to X at Katie Pavlich. News Nation, weeknights at 9 p.m. Excited to talk to her about that. She was a news editor for Town Hall for 16 years. And when I went to Washington, D.C. last April, I was speaking with the Town Hall White House correspondent that they had there at that time. It was somebody who was filling in for the normal person who would go there. And, I'm just going to say that when you get to meet people who know these types of people and it's just kind of a private conversation, I've only ever heard really nice things about Katie Pavlich, and she is so smart and just beautiful. I just love watching her do what she does and be as successful as she has been. So check her out on News Nation at 9 o'clock tonight. YouTube poll for today. Do you support Missouri Attorney General Hanaway's lawsuit to count only citizens in the United States Census, yes or no? You can text us your thoughts at 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, and let us know what you think there. Ethan will check the text and see if we want to feature some of those on the air. You can leave a comment in the YouTube live broadcast on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, and that's also where you can vote in the poll. We'll give those results at the end of the show. Congresswoman Mary Miller coming up at 2:05. We're going to talk about the government shutdown. We're also going to talk about election integrity in the state of Illinois. That'll be a long discussion. Congresswoman Mary Miller with us in about 20 minutes. We'll be right back. Stewart's American Mortgage. When you reach out to Stewie at 314-324-4440, that's 314-324-4440, you're going to get connected to the Bagel Loan guy. His name's Stewart Rosenblum. I have used the Bagel Loan twice. I bought my home in 2015. I'm pretty sure we refinanced first in 2019. And, remember, rates were crashing to bottom basement low. So we got our mortgage refinance, locked in a low rate, and we were happy campers. Well, then what happened after 2019? Obviously, COVID, rates went down even more, and we also had to do a full replacement on the deck on the back of our home. So what did I do? I went to the man who knows the things. That's Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. I called 314-324-4440, got connected with Stewie, and did a cash-out refinance where I actually lowered my rate once again in 2020 and took some equity out of our home. We all have growing equity right now in our houses, and I used that money to replace the deck on the back of the house. If you have the need for a brand new mortgage or mortgage refinance, the Bagel Loan means you close with $0 in closing costs. 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan for more information. And MLS number 226715.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Mark Cox, Annie Fry, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
We've been here 30 years. 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: do you support Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway's lawsuit to count only citizens in the U.S. Census? We've talked about this extensively today. You can go back and listen to Annie's interview with the Attorney General. It's a great interview. She breaks it all down for you, so go back and check that out on the Odyssey app.
Aw, thanks.
All your interviews are great, Annie.
What do you want?
Debatable.
That's what I tell my
I'll tell you after
What
the
do you
show. The time is 1:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesideRD.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Carry
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Did you see the intersection this week, Ryan? This weekend of Donald Trump and George Steinbrenner?
She just called you Ryan.
Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Ryan probably did see that.
Ethan?
Ethan did not.
I wouldn't have known. Really? I would not have known that I called you Ryan if nobody would have.
I'm not gonna lie.
You didn't notice either, did you?
After you said Ryan, I didn't hear anything else that you said. I was just trying to process that. So let's just ask it one more time.
Flattered or insulted?
There's so many
Both.
jokes that I want to make, but I don't like to make jokes about Ryan when he's not here.
I do.
I know you do. But to me, it's only fun if he gets to hear it and then push back a little bit. Ethan, you did not hear the George Steinbrenner overlap with Donald Trump here. This is a really interesting story. I'm going to share here the Fox News article about it. But now, Donald Trump, do you know he's like famous for saving clippings and things like that? He's also famous for sharing them.
Mm-mm.
If somebody writes a good article about Donald Trump, he will print it off or get a copy of it. He'll sign it, write a note on it, and send it to the person who wrote it or whatever. He does that type of stuff and has done that type of stuff for a very long time.
That's really cool.
Donald Trump shares a letter from Yankee legend George Steinbrenner urging him to run for president. He shared this on his True Social, and I'm trying to find right now the actual link to it. But it was basically George Steinbrenner reaching out to Trump and saying, "You're doing such a great job. You did such a great job on this interview. Saw you on Morton Downey the other night." The letter read, "He's a friend and I watch a show regularly." Steinbrenner wrote, "You were great. You tell it like it is. It is like I said to Stephen. You should run for president someday and get the whole damn thing straightened out. You were tremendous on the show."
Well, how did that turn out? Pretty darn good, I would say. That's pretty cool. From someone as big in the sports world as Jordan Steinbrenner to, what did it say what year this was that he wrote this?
Yeah.
If it's that picture, it had to be. That says that picture's from, what, 1986?
Letter was dated February 23rd, 1989.
That's pretty cool. What is, 26, that's a lot of years. It's 25 years.
Hey, easy.
25 years. Not that many.
25 years.
Really, it's 25. That's not that many. It's not a lot.
36. Pretty cool. And, there are so many instances of people, would George Steinbrenner today be one of Donald Trump's biggest fans? There are a lot of Yankees that are fans of Donald Trump. New Yorkers that think for themselves have an affinity for Donald Trump. For some, like New York, Donald Trump is like New York to some people, just the way he was. Now, he's been the president for the majority. For young people, they know him as a politician. But up until 2016, have you ever seen the montage of people making fun of Donald Trump talking about actually running for president in 2015, 2016?
Oh, yeah.
Where you've got, what's that guy? He's British. He's got glasses. Do it. Oliver?
Oliver.
John Oliver?
Is that a guy?
Yeah.
That is a guy.
Yeah, he has that.
I'm a huge fan.
Last Week Tonight or whatever it is.
That sounds about right. He was saying, in one of his reports from his funny I'm a comedian desk was Donald Trump has announced he's considering running for president. He just looks in the camera and he's like, do it. Like, oh, that would be the dumbest thing that could possibly happen to the Republicans. I would love for that to happen. There's this whole montage of all these people who were making fun of his thought to run for the president. But you go back 10 years before that, and they love that man. They want to be by him. They want to be at his parties. They want to be at parties with him. They want to be in pictures with him. They put him in his rap videos. They put him in their movies. And,
all the ladies on The View loved him, for God's sake.
Yes. He's in photos with the Clintons at Chelsea's wedding. The Clintons are in photos of his wedding to Melania. These were all people who flocked together. At some point, they had a common interest, and now he is, in Satan incarnate.
Who do you think changed more? We know, obviously, that the Clintons flipped on a lot of this stuff, but how much do you think Donald Trump changed?
See, I don't think I'm glad you asked that question. That's my point. he hasn't really changed in principle on these things. And George Steinbrenner in 1989 is saying, you got what it takes, man. You understand it. Go watch him on Oprah. Go watch him sit on all of these couches, on all of these shows in the days of daytime TV that we grew up with, which was basically filth. But we stayed home from school sick and watched Maury Povich and Jenny Jones and Sally Jesse Raphael and Geraldo.
0 for 4. Sorry.
I want you to watch an episode of Jenny Jones before you watch Spaceballs.
You know what? Last night, hold on.
And I want you to know that when we were 9 years old sitting at home, we were like, yeah, we'll watch that. He is definitely not the father.
Last night, I was trying to figure out what to watch, and Spaceballs popped up on Tubi. I was going through Tubi, and it popped up. I didn't watch it, but I did take note that it was there. So there isn't a way for me to watch it now. It's just a matter of.
There is a way for you to watch it. I will buy you the movie.
We don't need to do that now.
Do you know that movie is rated PG?
Is that supposed to mean something?
There's an F-bomb in the end of it.
Whoa, that's not very PG.
I had it on in the house because I let my kids watch it. I'd not allowed them to watch it. The movie version.
Mm-hmm.
You watch it on TV, and it's usually truncated for time more than anything. But I wanted to own Spaceballs. It's an important movie in our nation's history.
Yeah,
it's a scientific historical document. And so I was like, oh, I'll buy it. You guys can just watch it there. Then you have to watch it with commercials. So you can see the whole movie usually in less time than if you watch it on TV.
Sure.
And you get the better version of it. And I'm in the kitchen doing dishes or something like that, and they're all watching it in there in the living room, which is like open concept home. So I'm kind of listening to the movie and just chuckling while I'm washing the plates. Sure. And all of a sudden, here comes an F-bomb. I was like, what? And I hustle over there, and I put the info on the screen. Sure as sugar, there it pops up. It's PG. And I'm like, what were we doing in the 80s? You know why Gen X is so different than the rest of the world? Millennials, us elder millennials, are the Gen Yers. Is that what we would be? We're a little bit different, a little more emotionally available and sensitive potentially than the Gen Xers of the world. But the whole thing is that Gen X doesn't care.
Wasn't Jaws PG?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Jaws was PG as well.
That pretty much tracks because it's terrifying, and it looks like something that 80s kids would have been like, you should watch this. It's PG. Parental guidance suggested. F-bombs. My dark helmet.
You know, one of these days I'm going to get to Spaceballs. I just haven't gotten to that point yet. Just haven't gotten there yet.
Where's the F-bomb in Spaceballs? I got to figure out exactly. Occurs when President Scroob, that's Mel Brooks, is trying to activate the self-destruct mechanism on Mega Maid.
It's a heck of a line.
In frustration, he shouts, F! Even in the future, nothing works. That's what AI overview on Google says. Oh, man, when he's sitting in there and oh, gosh, I'm surrounded by a-holes. Like, gosh, there's so many great lines. Major a-hole.
Who made that man a gunner?
I did.
314. Text on the 314 says that Spaceballs is the best movie.
See, I know, right? Yes. See, the people agree.
I don't disagree with you. It's just a matter of putting the time in.
The problem with you watching Spaceballs now is that I don't think that you can have a stumble upon it, watch it on a Saturday afternoon, honest opinion about it. Because I don't think it's going to make you die laughing. I think you're going to roll your eyes the whole time. And
that's why I'm putting it off.
Reluctantly chuckle quite a bit. But
Literally
I think that if we wouldn't
off.
have been having this conversation, you would think it was funnier than...
Probably.
Right
you guys
now,
have hyped it up a lot.
Now you're just being stubborn, so you're not going to appreciate it the way you should.
Text from the 314 just told me it's the best movie ever made. So.
Congresswoman Mary Miller, not on Spaceballs, but next.
Learn how to create a worry-free retirement with the Retirement Advisory Group. It's coming up on Tuesday, February 17th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30 p.m. Here are Bob and Tammy Kershaw with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you Also know, if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, February 17th at 6:30 p.m. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com, 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Call Matt Hayes, and your foundation concern that you have right now, it doesn't have to just be, I'm not just talking about residential. They can help commercially as well. If you are serving on a board at church or something like that, or maybe helping with a local school, and you know that there is a foundation concern, it's become a liability. A lot of times the expansion and contraction of concrete, of course, it's going to cause cracks, but then it causes settling when that water moves in and out. You need to have a solution for that. You need to have one that's going to be reliable. I want to encourage you to reach out to Matt Hayes at 314-271-9900 and talk to him about the concrete leveling system that he can provide you. It's called polyjacking. They take a polyurethane foam, they inject it underneath the concrete, it raises it up, it levels it out so you don't have to worry about the problem in the future. 314-271-9900. You can find them online right now by going to HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623.
KFTK FM Florissant, an Odyssey station.
A do-over for the Justice Department. I'm Lisa Brady. Fox News. Days after millions of documents related to the federal probe of Jeffrey Epstein were published, the DOJ removing thousands of videos and images from its website following complaints about some material.
A statement from the DOJ says officials worked all hours through the weekend from the point the first victim-related concerns were raised to take down documents and media that may have inadvertently included victim-identifying information. The New York Times reports dozens of nude images were published. A law passed by Congress last year requires the full release of Epstein files, but with both sexually explicit images and information that could identify victims redacted.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Meantime, President Trump posting he never went to what he calls the infested Epstein Island, also suggesting there may be legal action in part over comments made by the Grammys host last night. Sheriff's officials in Arizona say the missing mom of a TV host did not leave on her own.
We do, in fact, have a crime.
Pima County, Arizona Sheriff Chris Nano said that's what the scene at the home of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie indicates. She's the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie and was reportedly last seen at her home Saturday evening. Sheriff Nano said drones and search dogs are being used. Now they're also turning to the community and what they may have captured on doorbell or surveillance cameras.
Don't dismiss it that, oh, well, we really can't see the house. They still might see something. Maybe it's somebody walking by. Maybe it's a vehicle driving by at that time of day.
The sheriff said they will also talk to workers that maintain the home to find out what they may have seen.
Fox's Gernal Scott. After months of pressure from the U.S., President Trump says India's prime minister agrees to stop buying Russian oil, and in turn, the U.S. will lower tariffs on goods from India. The oil announcement coming just ahead of another round of trilateral talks between the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine this week. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Sunshine on this Groundhog Day afternoon with better temperatures above freezing anyway, but still well below average. 38 for the high. Tonight, lots of clouds, 25. Tuesday, clouds, a couple of snow flurries and 33. A fall to 17 Tuesday night. Wednesday, partly sunny and 31, but warmer in the 40s Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Support the idea of having proper identification to vote in an election. Why can't this get done?
Because Democrats want to make it easy to cheat. They're not interested in election security. That ought to tell you something. Republicans are happy to make it easy to vote, but we want to make it almost impossible to cheat. The reason 80% of Americans support voter ID is they don't want their legitimate vote canceled out by a fraudulent vote. Democrats have no problem with that, which is why they're rushing to do things like automatic registration. They doubled the number of absentee ballots, even though the Baker-Carter Commission said that was probably the greatest area of potential fraud in our elections. They embrace that. So, again, Democrats refuse to cooperate with Republicans to make our elections more secure.
Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin talking straight to the point there, suggesting that Democrats are not interested in the safe and secure elections, at least those that are legislating against it. They want to make it easier to vote and harder to cheat. Who disagrees with that? Let's speak with our friend Congresswoman Mary Miller back on the show with us. She represents Illinois' 15th District in the House of Representatives, one of 3 Republicans in the state of Illinois in Congress. Congresswoman, thanks for being with us today. It's always good to have you with us.
Well, thank you for having me and for talking about this, because I know that every time you and I talk, we are trying to encourage people to get to the polls and vote, that we have the votes in Illinois to turn Illinois red. But unfortunately, there's a lack of confidence in Illinois' election processes. And I think that we're seeing this. The Democrats are refusing to take even the most basic steps to secure our elections in Illinois.
Well, the president, this administration has pressured states to, I guess, assess their voter rolls. I'm hoping you can talk to us a little bit more about what the administration is trying to do to restore some election integrity. But Illinois is not interested in playing ball. We know that Congressman Boss has a lawsuit that was given the ability to proceed by the Supreme Court because Illinois counts mail-in ballots well after Election Day. Talk to me about the state of the election system in Illinois and what you were pressuring the Board of Elections to do to get it right.
Well, we just want basic steps as number one, maintaining voter rolls. And many Illinois counties are not reporting removal data, and they're refusing to set statewide guidelines. I think that you can either consider it a dereliction of duty or that they know how much they're benefiting from not cleaning up the voter rolls. So, it's typical Democrat status quo, refusing transparency so that they can stay in power.
So Illinois is one of 23 states, along with Washington, D.C., being sued by the administration. They want access to unredacted voter rolls. What kind of leverage does the administration have to access the unredacted voter rolls? And is Congress willing to do anything to help this along to make sure that the voter rolls are accurate representations of legal voters within the state of Illinois among these other areas?
Well, we're going at it in many different ways, but last week, the House Administration Committee, which I'm on, we introduced a bill called Make Elections Great Again, the MEGA Act, and it's going to require voter ID or a photo ID to vote. It's going to require verification of citizenship, voter list maintenance, which is one thing that Illinois is refusing to do. And it's because they probably have all kinds of dead people on the rolls. But we're going to ban ballot harvesting. We want to require that paper ballots are used and that mail-in ballots have to be received by the close of the polls on the election day.
Yeah, I've heard the SAVE Act is a big conversation in the Senate right now. Probably the reason why Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin there, was talking about it on the Fox News show. But we've heard the president. I mean, boy, that's one of his main issues, is trying to restore election integrity and confidence and trust from Democrats and Republicans and independents alike. Nobody feels good about the election system right now. I've heard Democrats shaking their fists at the sky because they think the 2024 election was stolen. It's an easy topic point for people to have distrust in our election system. If things like what you're listing in the MEGA Act to make elections great again were implemented, do you think that could restore confidence in the American voter, in the accuracy of the election results that we get?
Absolutely. And the MEGA Act is expanding on the SAVE Act. And secure elections are the foundation of our republic. And I just want to say again that I believe all the Democrats will oppose these reforms because they have to continue the status quo to keep themselves in power. They do not want transparency.
So let's talk a little bit before we let you go here. I think it's great to hear that effort. As an Illinois resident myself, I long and pine for the day where the people who I talk to in my everyday life, who are incredibly frustrated with the corruption, the direction of the state of Illinois, they want something different. That doesn't mean, to me, it doesn't mean that they want the most right-wing, red to the bone Republican conservative to win all the statewide, but they would like some common sense. And J.B. Pritzker and the Democrat supermajority in the state of Illinois are not delivering common sense to the people of Illinois. Do you believe that in this midterm election that will include statewide elections for our statewide officials, do you believe that Illinois voters should have hope and reason to show up in the midterms because maybe a difference is right around the corner?
Well, no matter what, you have to do the right thing, and that is to show up and vote. But I do have to say that my husband had a colleague that brought a bill forward to remove dead people from the rolls, and the Democrats would not take it up. So the Democrats are sticking together. They're opposed to cleaning up the voter rolls. They're opposed to anything that will, threaten their status quo and keeping themselves in power.
Yeah. Imagine being opposed to removing dead people from the voter rolls. The supermajority of Democrats in the state of Illinois in the legislature opposed.
Yes.
Before we let you go, the government, as I understand it, shut down right now. What's the situation in the House and the Senate? Is the government going to get reopened anytime soon?
I think it will. We're going to vote on the bills this week, and we're going to have to pass a 2-week CR on funding the Department of Homeland Security. So I don't know what's ahead for that, but President Trump is not going to back down, nor Tom Homan, nor any of us, in light of removing the people that are here illegally, especially the violent criminals first, and then all of them. And we want to cut off taxpayer-funded benefits to them. President Trump had a mandate. He told everybody what he's going to do, and he won overwhelmingly on this platform. We want people that are here illegally to be removed, and no matter what, we're going to continue. We funded the Department of Homeland Security, and ICE in the reconciliation bill, and they have the money to continue on no matter what.
If I think specifically about your state that you represent in Congress, Illinois, and that I reside in as well, those sanctuary cities and those sanctuary states have invited a lot of people who might not have a legal status to reside, to live in blue states like Illinois. Is Illinois benefiting on dollars received from the federal government? Is Illinois taking those taxpayer dollars, state funded or federally funded, and providing them to people who are here illegally?
They have been, and I've been pushing, for example, with SNAP benefits, that if Illinois or any other state is not going to release their SNAP rolls so that we can see who's on it, that we are going to cut off their funding. And I think that for the sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, if they are not going to abide by federal laws and cooperate with us on getting the illegals out, I'm all for cutting off the federal benefits.
Yeah, it's you want the money that comes out of our pocket to go into a system to help people who need the hand up. You want those people to also be fairly participating in the system when they receive those dollars. And when you're a state like Illinois, a sanctuary state, maybe Minnesota, California, among others, it seems unfair that so many of our tax dollars are being used in opposition to what we're investing in. Last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Congresswoman Mary Miller. It is a very important heart issue for me. In the big, beautiful bill that you were successfully a part of passing last year, provided an opportunity for an expansion of school choice without taking a single penny away from public education funding. And in Illinois specifically, we're waiting on Governor J.B. Pritzker to approve for Illinois students to have access to these scholarship funds. From my understanding, everybody who wants to donate money come 2027 to expand school choice can do so, can get the federal tax credit. But Governor J.B. Pritzker has to approve the fact that Illinois students could benefit from these scholarship funds, and he has yet to do so. Do you anticipate J.B. Pritzker weighing in on this issue and giving Illinois kids opportunities for these scholarship funds passed in the big, beautiful bill?
I don't think that he will give Illinois any chance to participate in that. I think he'll be opposed to it. He's been opposed to school choice from day one. He's all in with the teachers' unions, and the teachers' unions are opposed to school choice too. They are all in for forcing kids into failing schools, and I don't look for Illinois to participate.
That's not good to hear. Hopefully some common sense can let's just say a prayer that common sense can settle in and Illinois kids
I'm really
aren't.
sorry about it. I'm very sorry that we have this kind of loser governor that is damaging our state, and he's not advocating for the people that live there. He's all about illegals, about criminals, about gangbangers, and I just wish these people would wake up and go to the polls and vote for someone different.
Anybody different. J.B. Pritzker up for re-election this November. Last question. Is there anything people can do before it comes time to vote? I just want to get your thoughts as somebody who has successfully run campaigns in the state of Illinois. Any other ask that you have of individuals where they can use their time or treasure to try to make that a success come November?
Well, we've got to get people out to vote. That's the key thing. I think we saw a disaster in Texas where 12% of registered voters came out to vote, and we ended up having a Democrat elected in a district that President Trump carried pretty handily, and we have to get people engaged. Our duty is to go vote, and then we'll have to see how it turns out. But we have no chance if people don't show up to vote.
Amen to that. Congresswoman Mary Miller, thank you for the time. We'll have you back soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a great day. She is the Illinois 15th District Representative in the House of Representatives there on Capitol Hill. You can go on X at Rep. Mary Miller. Let's take a break. Ethan, sorry. Ryan's on my head. Ethan's going to come in for Ethan Sports and Local here in just a minute. And he said he's got some pretty big news regarding the Cardinals that he's going to deliver to us. I don't know the details on this yet. So Ethan in here with Sports and Local, something you're going to want to know about the season coming up. Ethan next. Don't go away. Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. My husband and I just changed our filter on our furnace as the cold air had set in. We wanted to make sure everything was working in tip-top shape. Corey Malone would like to remind you to change your filter, I'm sure. At Air Comfort Service, if things aren't working right, if the air is not warm like it's supposed to be, if it's not dispersing through your home like it's supposed to be, you can contact Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091 and talk to them about coming out and taking a look at what you might be dealing with. Eventually, you're going to have to replace that HVAC system. Our house is about 25 years old now, so everything is like just one thing after the other is having to be replaced. A few years ago, it was our HVAC system, and we went to one place and one place only. That's Air Comfort Service. Right now, if you do need a new furnace or HVAC system, you can take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. And for a limited time, this is really important right now when it's cold and dry outside. Get a free humidifier with a new HVAC system installation. Call them at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, did you just have your house painted? Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, no, it's actually Rhino Shield.
877-25rhino.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up. Check it out.
Sports and local.
In a 3-hour daily marathon of a show, here's the one segment you might consider for a bathroom break.
Ew. Ryan!
He picks the day that he's gone to debut that one.
Ryan makes those, if you can't tell. And
that was really good.
Ryan, you still know that we need people to listen and listen longer. I need you to listen to the station and show. I need you to listen all the time.
You know, Ryan, I think by doing this, Ryan's making me a better broadcaster.
It's also a time for me to tell you that you can take your bathroom break right now. Bring the Odyssey app with you. Turn that sucker up. Take your time. Expose people to the elements of the Odyssey app.
I will let you have that
Sounds
conversation.
really good with that reverb.
With the people. That's fine. Okay. We got some sports news from over the weekend.
Sports!
It was another successful weekend for the local college basketball teams. Let's go ahead and start with SLU Billikens basketball. 15 straight wins, Annie.
Look at them go.
What's their record now?
Gosh, 22?
21-1.
21-1, I wasn't sure if
21-1. They had their Billiken Blizzard night on Friday night, which is their whiteout night. It's one of their more popular games of the year. happened to be facing their biggest rival in Dayton, and they went belt to butt on Dayton.
Belt to butt.
Yeah, the PG version.
That's how we were raised.
Yeah, belt to butt. Final score 102-71.
Ooh, that is
an absolute
whooping.
beatdown. And Dayton is not a bad team. They actually have one of the top 50 rated defenses in the country. So to put up 102 points on them was pretty impressive. So
I looked at the SLU schedule and saw they play Dayton one more time this season, but they don't have anybody who's ranked on the rest of their schedule. How does that affect seeding for March?
Well, I mean, naturally, when you're playing in a mid-major conference like the Atlantic 10, you are not going to have as many impressive teams on the schedule during conference play, so it basically means that you have less margin for error. You have to perform better in order to get a better seed.
But, I mean, it's almost a flawless season. Like, I don't know how, if you're playing in a mid-major, they did lose one game to Stanford at a buzzer beater.
Mm-hmm.
Was it overtime?
No.
Just at the buzzer.
Mm-hmm.
So one loss, not in any way, shape, or form a bad loss, but just domination from that point on. And I'm just thinking, like, what's the ceiling for a mid-major seeding-wise? I mean,
you're probably right now that they jumped from 21st to 19th in the AP poll, which doesn't necessarily project
top five, then?
How they would be viewed in the seeding for the NCAA tournament necessarily. But I would have to imagine that if they were to win out, if they were to finish 32, 33-1, whatever it is, then they are for sure looking at a top 5 seed. I would be shocked if they weren't. Now, there's a lot of basketball to be played.
Still would be really challenge to go.
Yeah, right. Finishing 33-1 would be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But if they get to that point, yes, I think you would be shocked to find them not being a top 5 seed.
It's just interesting to think about, like, what the ceiling is when your competition level is mid. By definition.
The thing that makes them so good is that they are, and last year they had a good starting 5, but they are so deep this year. They have 8 guys, and they can rely on any of them to score.
Real question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that coach going to be gone after this season?
Oh, I hope not.
Moving on
I
up?
hope not. There was definitely some talk that started floating around this weekend on X about, all right, he's the next coach of Providence or of this school.
It's the natural
moving up.
progression of things.
So I hope not. Hopefully SLU can lock him up.
Pay him his money.
They certainly should, because this is only year 2 that he's been here. So what he is doing is not only great for the program, the school, it's great for the area. Because let's be honest,
especially right now,
St. Louis sports suck right now. Billikens basketball is basically all we have. It's a tough time. Illinois basketball.
Yeah.
They continue to win as well.
Yeah.
They've won 11 straight now. They knocked off the number 5 team in the country this weekend, Nebraska.
On the road.
Those Huskers ain't husking anymore.
Kind of husky.
78-69. The Fighting Illini are now 19-3 overall, 10-1 in the Big Ten. Their only loss came to Nebraska, so they have now beat the team that is the only team that beat them in conference. So the deeper into their schedule they get, the better that they look.
That might have been an overtime loss as well. Was it? Or a buzzer beater?
I don't know for a fact. But they lost by 3. I know that. So if you are an Illinois fan, this is an exciting time as well.
If you are a moderate Illinois fan, you jump right on that bandwagon and you ride it into the sunset, which is orange and blue.
You tell them, Manny. The Mizzou Tigers also won this weekend, 84-79 over Mississippi State. Mark Mitchell, 19 points. The Tigers now 15-7 overall, 5-4 in conference play. So good weekend. Good weekend for all of the college basketball teams. We don't need to talk about the Blues. They lost again. Whatever. It's fine.
Talk about the Cardinals.
5-3. Yeah, big news for the Cardinals. We talked a couple of weeks ago about how there had been some question marks as to the future with FanDuel Sports Midwest. Were they going to stick with them because FanDuel didn't make their payment in December? So there was some concern as to if the Cardinals were going to have to break off from them. Well, being announced today, Cardinals baseball will be on Cardinals TV in 2026. So local Cardinal games, 145 of the 162 games will be produced and distributed by Major League Baseball, making games available to in-market fans on cable, satellite television, as well as through the MLB direct-to-consumer streaming platform.
Except all of those games will be blacked out if you watch them in St. Louis.
Oh, no.
Okay, good.
Nothing changes except the channel number that you will turn your TV to watch the game. That's really the only thing. Fans within the Cardinals' home television market can watch Cardinals TV on cable and satellite television or stream live through Cardinals TV. Information on cable and satellite providers, including specific channel locations. That's all going to be announced at a later date.
So you can't tell. Like, I hear cable. That's like Spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Satellite. What is satellite?
Dish.
I would assume like
DirecTV?
DirecTV, Dish.
I'm a YouTube TV person.
Yes. So that was actually
Is that considered
asked.
streaming right now?
That is, I think that is considered streaming. I actually saw a tweet about this because Jeff Jones with the Belleville News Democrat asked Bill DeWitt if I'm trying to find this tweet. He asked Bill DeWitt III if this was going to be excuse me, it was games were going to be on basically YouTube TV because in the past, FanDuel Sports Midwest had the issue of not having the games broadcast on there.
When I subscribed to YouTube TV originally, like immediately when it came through and made its way into St. Louis, I subscribed the first day YouTube TV was available. It was $35 a month for YouTube TV.
Yeah, a little different now.
But they had Fox News and they had Cardinals games on there, and the news channels, they've expanded a lot of channels. There's a lot of access to things on there, but the Cardinals and the Blues haven't been on there for so long that I'm really questioning. I feel like streaming television has now gotten to where the reason people left cable is because it was way too expensive. You got all these channels, but you don't watch them. You watch 3 channels. Most people have their news channel. You stream most of the TV stuff that you watch or whatever. And it just becomes so expensive for what you're using it for. So then a cheaper alternative comes out. And I feel like direct-to-consumer, where you just pay a subscription for the content that you want. I mean, you could subscribe to quite a few things, and it's going to be not quite $75 or whatever a month.
So Jones, this was Jones's tweet, said he asked Bill DeWitt III if they expected an MLB broadcast to be on services without carriage agreements, specifically YouTube TV, and he suggested that that would be possible. So there is a world in which this happens. We'll have to wait and see for sure. But now what everyone wants to know, what's the price going to be for this? How much is it going to cost? The Cardinals said it's going to cost
$1 million.
$19.99 per month, or if just for the entire season, $99.99.
I will say this, that you're thinking to yourself, like, that's another $20 a month subscription. Are you kidding me? But going back to what I was saying before, like, if you think about the cost to go to a Cardinals game, the cost to go to the movie theater, the cost to, participate in pretty much anything right now, $20 a month for something that if you're going to watch half the games that month, if you really break it down to, like, how many dollars you're going to pay per game that you see, I don't really have a problem with it.
Quick Rick says he'll pay them $1 for each win.
It's a good deal.
Well, that's what you should do. It should be like $3 a game, and they give you your money back if they lose.
Now we're talking here.
And then if they're at or above 500, you could increase it each month.
Here's what I hate. What I hate
I
now.
will invest in that.
We don't know what the Blues are going to do down the road, but I hate that they're not on the same one anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part, in my opinion, that sucks the most about this, because I want to be able to watch them both, and I don't want to have to pay a ridiculous amount of money to have to watch
like
the
two
two
for one.
separate sports teams in St. Louis. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I don't know, with the Cardinals being through MLB, maybe there's going to be a package eventually on, some of these, different satellite networks or cable networks where you're able to, package them together. But with them being on,
Is there
different channels now.
There maybe? I mean, I would think that the frontier is wide open. That maybe there's a partnership that because they share resources in the past. They've shared resources.
There certainly could be, but now they're not being covered through the same company.
Yeah.
So we have no idea what that's going to include. So I hope eventually that something could be worked out that I'm not having to pay for both of them separately, because that would really not be fun. But I think this is overall a good step for the Cardinals in breaking from the regional sports network. Just real quick, as far as the areas in which this is going to be covered, all of the states of Iowa, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, portions of Indiana, Tennessee, and Mississippi, and then all of Illinois outside of Chicagoland, and pretty much all of Missouri outside of the greater Kansas City region are going to have coverage and be able to be, not in the blackout territory.
Where they certainly have their own markets.
Correct.
That would be interested in.
Correct.
In owning that space. Well, I'm very interested in seeing it because we have not had access for a few years now, and it has significantly impacted our ability to do the live and die day to day that you kind of want to do. Well, a little bit more dying these days, but that you want to kind of do along with the team. I mean, that builds a relationship, a recurring meeting point with each game where you can sit down, have it on, and watch it for a little bit. When it becomes such a problem to get to it, I will never, ever, ever forgive Major League Baseball for putting Albert Pujols' 699th and 700th home run on freaking Apple TV, which I happen to be watching because I just happened to have bought a MacBook because my other one crashed, and I had free Apple TV, and I turned it on my Apple TV. I mean, it was like right when he hit the first home run.
I didn't watch it live.
That is a cardinal sin. Put it. It's on
pretty
the board.
bad.
Thank you. It makes me so
bad.
mad. We can't. No, stop it. It should have been on prime time.
Yeah, it should have been.
It was the Cardinals and the Dodgers and Albert Pujols chasing 700, and it was on Apple TV.
And two of the better teams in baseball at the time, too.
Like, you can't even be like, oh, you were playing Miami or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was at the end of the year.
It was on the stretch run.
I mean, honestly, probably one of the greatest Cardinals moments that we've had in how many years, Ethan?
I would argue in one of the greatest moments in baseball history. It might be the last time that 700 home runs ever happens.
On Apple TV.
On Apple TV.
Yeah.
That's why I'm an Android person.
No, it's not. That's not why
I
you're
am an Android person.
I know you are, but that's not why you're an Android person.
I have a MacBook.
I don't want to hear that.
Anything else? You could take it to 3 if you want.
We'll
run our commercials.
I can tell you about some changes coming to Lambert Airport. Huh?
All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away. Do you support Missouri Attorney General Hanaway's lawsuit to count only citizens in the U.S. Census? It's so hard for me to say. Yes or no? Text us at 314-241-9797. Ethan will highlight some of those texts as they come in. 314-241-9797. Come say hi and vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Back in a minute.
Podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week, new segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better. Let's get it.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty, that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com. When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty, that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
Mark Cox here. This is my invitation to you to join me September 30th as we discover the charm of Switzerland, Austria, and Germany with Colette Travel. Spend 4 nights in Bern and 4 nights at the foot of the Alps in Innsbruck. There are cobblestone streets and postcard-worthy mountain landscapes of the amazing Alps everywhere. We'll explore the Swiss capital of Bern and Lucerne, the Swiss paradise on the lake. Plus, we'll travel the Austrian countryside to Salzburg with a visit to Mozart's birthplace and beautiful Mirabelle Gardens featured in The Sound of Music. Colette handles all the details, from flights to meals, hotels, and local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss joining me. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or visit 971talk.com to learn more. The number again, 800-581-8942. Call today.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Hi, Chad Hansen from Hansen's Tree Service. Much like the human body, trees require a specific combination of nutrients to thrive. Our certified arborists can come to your property and prescribe the ideal treatment to ensure your trees and plants thrive this coming season. Check us out today at hansenstree.com and take advantage of our winter savings.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you support Missouri Attorney General Hanaway's lawsuit to count only citizens in the U.S. Census? And it's a yes or no question. You can jump on Annie's YouTube page, youtube.com/@AnnieFry, and vote in that poll. Leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted. Or if you just want to comment, you can text us at 314-241-9797. Ethan will read those comments. Had a packed show today. We had Katie Pavlich, Catherine Hanaway to talk about her lawsuit. We even had Rep. Mary Miller. You can find all of those interviews on the Odyssey app, so go ahead and check that out. The time is 2:38. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
From the gateway to the airwaves, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Young Money.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. Brad was just listing the different guests we had today. Catherine Hanaway with us at the beginning of the show. I think it's a really important thing for people to pay attention to. There's so many different news stories, headlines, initiatives right now surrounding our elections and who gets to vote and who gets to be here and how they get to be here, that I think that getting the facts and the information from as close to the source as you possibly can is incredibly important. And speaking to the Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway at 12:18 today, we got to learn a little bit about the lawsuit she has that is pushing for only legal citizens, legal status individuals to be counted in the United States Census. And her reaction to that was very much so. I asked her, because, like, what kind of timeline are we talking about? Is this something we're going to figure out by the end of the week, Friday, maybe? That would be nice. No, years. Certainly the legal process is not a fast one. But if you didn't get to hear everything she had to say, please consider checking out the Annie Fry Show podcast. You can go to the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Find the Annie Fry Show. If you don't know, my last name is spelled Frey. And check out the podcast and listen to what Catherine Hanaway had to say there. I commented on this a little bit earlier in the show. We have an announcement from Turning Point USA. They've launched their rival halftime show, and the Fox News report says the event, titled the All-American Halftime Show, is scheduled to air around 8 p.m. Eastern, so 7 p.m. our time, on February 8th, and will feature performances from artists including Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, and Gabby Barrett, according to the nonprofit organization TPUSA. Kid Rock said in a statement, "We're approaching the show like David and Goliath. Competing with the pro football machine and a global pop superstar is almost impossible. Or is it? Concert will air opposite the NFL's official halftime show, headlined by, of course, Latin music star Bad Bunny. It says here in the Fox News report, a selection that has sparked backlash from some conservatives. I'm questioning, did the NFL pick Bad Bunny to be the halftime show to anger people? And I don't think that is why they picked him. I think they picked him because he is a huge, huge star right now. But I very much so question the thought process between the conjunction of Bad Bunny's audience and people who are watching the NFL. So if I'm completely on the outside looking in because I don't know anything about Bad Bunny, let me put it this way. I didn't know anything about Bad Bunny. Most of what I have been exposed to since the announcement of his selection to be the halftime performer is that he is a Latin rap superstar who raps all in Spanish. I don't know that does he have, Ethan, English in his music?
Not that I know of.
What I'm hearing, and again, this is totally secondhand, and 75% of the information I'm consuming is from people who are upset that he's the halftime show. So that that his songs are all not in English. And yes, the Super Bowl halftime show, I think, should be an English-speaking event. That doesn't mean that if you have Latin influence in it, I love Zumba.
Shakira and J-Lo were just a few years ago.
Yeah, certainly. I don't have a problem with that type of influence in the culture, but it would be nice if the music was at least 50% in a language that I could understand. So I'm not into his music. I don't know anything about him. But the other thing is that he's a dress wearer. So people are mad that he is gonna do this performance. It's gonna be in all Spanish. He went on, was it SNL that he hosted, where he came out and did a monologue in Spanish, I think. And at the end, it was basically about, I'm going to do the Super Bowl halftime show. It's going to be in Spanish. You've got 2 months to learn the language. You remember that?
Mm-mm.
Do you remember that, Brad?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I mean, that was the attitude. So it's like, okay, listen, I'm a big fan of, this is not for me. I'm going to ignore it and do something else during that amount. I don't think that my rage, not that this would really boil me up to the point where I would have rage about something like a halftime show. I just think that we give them what they want when everybody is pulling their hair out, going like, oh, how dare they? I mean, I don't have any problem with, like you said, Shakira being up there. J-Lo, I have a kind of a love-hate thought on J-Lo. I think she's incredibly talented dancing. I think she's a serviceable singer. She's an average actress, but she's very accomplished. I mean, I just don't have time to hate her. I don't care that much. I just think we have to be realistic as to what they're trying to do, and what they're trying to do is make money. And I think that they're going to make more money with what they can materialize after the fact with Bad Bunny's performance than they would with something that just made the football fans happy for a halftime show.
I just want a Post Malone halftime show. That's all I want.
Post Malone?
Post Malone.
Post Malone would be good with Chris Stapleton.
He would be. I think that Post Malone as a headliner would be phenomenal. And the reason being is that for anyone that is familiar with him, Post Malone, I mean, he may be at the top of the feature game. He has so many features. I mean, almost all of his music includes features. And
so when you say feature, does that mean he is the feature, or he does a song and brings somebody in?
He brings someone in.
So he's got all these connections.
He has so many connections. He has done so many different genres, from obviously the hip-hop and rap. The country's the most recent. But he also has some poppy stuff, some soulful stuff. He fits into so many different genres and categories that I think you could please a lot of different people. You could bring in a lot of different artists from different genres. I think it would be appealing to the masses. It feels like Post Malone right now would be the biggest win-win trying to please everyone artist, because he has done so many different kinds of music.
I like that thought process, in that Post Malone is more your generational version. I don't know if Chris Stapleton is my generation. I mean, I'm 41. He's got to be late 40s. I don't even know Chris Stapleton. But that's what I like about Chris Stapleton is that he pairs with so many different things that you have kind of this like 47. You've got like the central gravitational pull of a Chris Stapleton, but what makes him great is all of the people you can surround him with that are also great. So it's almost as if the thing that people talk about after the fact is not always just Chris Stapleton, but it was like, oh, did you see the Post Malone part of the show or whatever? Or Post Malone being out there, like you could pull in so many different people and work with them. I think that we're kind of talking about the same thing, just different type of characters. And the Kendrick Lamar thing from last year, like you said, it was the whole thing was a diss track on Drake. I don't care.
A lot of it was.
I don't care if they're feuding. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, you want to be entertained in the biggest show of the year. That's what you want. And, it just, like, can we just focus on that? That's all I want.
U2 had a great halftime show, I think. Was that the one where they scrolled the names? Was U2 right after September 11th? I'm trying to think about that. Everybody, there's
2002, yeah.
It was? Okay. So they sang one of their songs. I can't remember which one it was. I'm going to go find it because it's moving. But they projected, my recollection is they projected a scroll of names of all of the people who were killed in 9/11.
The logo has a big American flag in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, put it in my veins. Okay, and also, actually, no, when we come back, I want to talk about the Budweiser. Is it Budweiser commercial? Or was it Anheuser-Busch? It wasn't Bud Light.
It was
Budweiser.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Next on the Annie Fry Show. Don't go away.
27th at Tapawingo Golf Club. Get your tickets now at bourbonforbadges.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholz of Kaufman Townsley, and here's one of our clients.
The team at Kaufman Townsley really goes above and beyond to take care of their clients and secure them the justice they deserve.
Injured? Call 314-777-7777.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, the doctors, or just the best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. 314-966-5000, the doctors. They've treated more than 250 doctors. That's more than any other practice. Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati, Dr. Andy Royer. 314-966-5000 is their phone number. 314-966-5000. Dr. Birdie, Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eye, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, LASIK surgery. The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, experts. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or visit them online, youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, quarter mile west of 270. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
So are you dipping into your like 90s self here? You've got a couple songs.
A little bit. It's growing a little bit.
I love Ethan picks the music for the show each day, and you just like randomly select a song, and then you're like, "Hey, this is good," but you've never heard it because it's from 1995.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Picking the music for the show has helped open up some of my taste in music.
The interesting thing about that to me is I grew up really liking 80s music. I'm kind of over it. Not all of it, but like I can't just sit and listen to 80s over and over. It's got to be hit and miss or whatever.
I appreciate some of the some of the stuff that we play, early 2000s, the 90s stuff that has just a very specific sound, guitar heavy. I appreciate some of that. It's just different from what I've grown up in because everything I feel like that I've grown up in is
computerized and processed.
Yes.
Yeah, it's music. It's actually instrumentally musical. We were talking before we went to the break about the commercial that was released, is it over a week ago maybe? From
probably about a week ago.
Budweiser. And guys, I'm just going to tell you, everyone's like, this is it. America's back. Everyone's like, I want to run through a brick wall. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
What?
And, well, everybody kept sharing it. And I kept seeing it over and over and over again, but I didn't watch it.
Annie.
And then I watched it and I cried.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, oh, my God, I love this country.
I was so
it's
fired
so
up.
wonderful.
Didn't I send it in our... I think I sent it in our show group
you
chat.
were part of the problem for me.
It's like, this is the most American thing that I've ever watched.
Well, I don't want to... I'm not a joiner. I'm not a person who's like...
Here you are.
Oh, yeah, I've arrived. I'm late to the game. And when I'm going to watch the Super Bowl probably until we get to that commercial. I don't know. I'm not hyped about it. I'm glad the Rams lost, right? But Seattle and who else?
New England.
Oh, heck. I'm not interested in that at all. I can't. I would actively cheer against the Rams, but I wouldn't want to watch for fear of watching them win. I don't want to give them the right to ruin another one of my days.
That's fair.
It's so hurtful.
It should be a good game.
Senator Eric Schmidt from Missouri has been out there saying that St. Louis should get another NFL team.
Yeah, that's not happening. I appreciate his efforts, but it's not happening.
Are you in charge?
No, but yes.
I'm the voice of the people.
I'm just a realist, okay?
Yeah,
I
the
just
NFL
understand.
doesn't see
It's not going to happen.
Why?
Because
Why?
Sued them for $800 million.
Well,
they're going to have zero interest in coming back here.
It's not big enough.
St. Louis isn't?
No.
Well, maybe at this point. I mean, like, you look at... There's been so much talk about expansion over the last few years, and nothing has still happened. Will something happen eventually? Maybe, but I don't know. They've tried it here twice, and they've had... It's not like it's the people's fault. They've had teams leave, but I would be surprised if... I would just be surprised at this point if it happened. I don't know.
I wonder how many... I wonder how many people... I think we would... I was going to say we're not really the audience to poll for it, but I actually think we might be the exact right audience to poll for it. Because if you're on a sports talk station and you're like, how many people would cheer for the NFL if St. Louis got a team? That's like us being like, grade Donald Trump's job performance. Like, you do that on a sports talk station, you're going to get a little bit of a different result than here. But, I wonder how many people listening, because you like to cheer for the home team. Like you'd think it would bring jobs, of course, to downtown. It would bring activity to downtown.
Well, I have no doubt that St. Louisans would be all in on it. I have zero doubt about that. I mean, it's the biggest.
I think it would. I don't know that they would be all in on it immediately.
I think they would.
There would have to be some romanticizing and some pursuit.
I think that the fans here want to be appreciated. They know how great they are, and if a league as big as the NFL had someone fighting and advocating to come back here, there would be such a huge level of appreciation. I think that fans here would kill it if the NFL came back.
I don't think a lot of people who own PSLs and spent thousands of dollars on tickets who watched the undermining of those ticket purchasers for years before the Rams left. I don't know that they'd
You'd have to have a committed and bought-in owner.
Yeah. You'd have to do a lot of persuading. You got the results for us today?
I do. 215 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you support Missouri Attorney General Hanaway's lawsuit to count only citizens in the U.S. Census? Woof. It's a close one today. 96% vote yes. 4% vote no.
4% vote no. I love our 4%. Thanks for being here, guys. All right, stick around here. The Mark Reardon Show is coming up next on 97.1 FM Talk. And a reminder, if you're leaving the office, getting in the car to go home or go shopping or whatever, stream us online in the Odyssey app. Keep us in the car on 97.1 FM Talk. Just keep it here.